And we're back. We did not die. We've not left you forever. I still put out NBA observations for you guys all week, but it's Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for joining me right here at the Lakers Fast Break. You know, I also host the Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. I still do that show twice a week. Did so last week. In fact, I still did 9 shows, 8 or 9 shows last week. So I'm still doing stuff. But on the latest Pop Culture Cosmos tomorrow, Josh Peterson and I will talk about the not E3, could be E3, should be E3, would be E3, but it isn't E3 because, well, they just can't get their act together to have E3. So we'll talk about Sony, as TJ Johnson and I did on the Friday show, but he'll elaborate more on PlayStation State of Play, the Summer Game Fest from Jeff Keighley, anything relating to that as far as the PC gaming show, if there's any interest there. Also, as well, of course, the Xbox Showcase, which was earlier on Sunday. Xbox for the win, baby. Xbox for the win. They did better than any of them. I don't want to say they killed it per se, but they did better than anyone, that's for sure. But again, we'll talk about that. Although I heard a rumor that maybe we'll have a differing voice on that show. So go ahead and check out the Pop Culture Cosmos about Monday, early, mid morning, Monday afternoon, wherever you get your podcast. Plus, also, as well, of course, don't want to forget what I do at Lakers Latest, right there for you on the Lakers Latest channel on YouTube for the Fan Arc Network. I'm on there virtually every day. I did take a day off. It was an off day for the NBA Finals. So I said, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take a day off. So I took a day off too, and I will go ahead and get you prepped up for NBA Finals Game 2 there at, and of course, any little Lakers tidbits, and also a draft prospect that I've been looking at each and every time out. So we go ahead and do that right there on Lakers Latest as well. But yes, of course, great to have you here. Don't forget my good friends, Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. Yo, also as well. Don't forget at Drip Show Shop, all that great stuff behind me as far as the canvas arts with Luca and Kobe looking at you. I do have a LeBron on the other side. Do have my Kobe pillow right here, still right here. All the great things can be provided each and every time out that you can get in your life by at Drip Show Shop right there where you get your social media. Turd Ward, thank you so much. Truly appreciate the nice words. I've been getting still some great verbiage from a lot of people out there and comments out there, how much they appreciate what we do. Again, with the slow times that there is, and I know I've had this discussion before. And by the way, I have an update on the Lakerholics, and it's not a great one for you guys. Just want to let you know when no one died. I know they're old, no one died, but something else died with the Lakerholics, but I'll tell you that in a second. But I just wanted to say thank you for everybody who's been sharing the nice comments. Roger, Craig, Tough, everyone that's been on Lakers Latest sharing the great word over there as well. Cannot thank you enough for doing so. And again, when you're making this Laker content and doing it on a regular basis, I've had this discussion and argument with followers before in the years about, oh, you guys, why do you guys take so much time off? Or why do you take time off during the summer? Blah, blah, blah. It's just a matter of this. When we did apply every day during the course of the year and including the summer, we did not see a substantial hike or gain in the audience as far as it during the summer months. They're just not here. They're here for the draft. They're here for the start of free agency. They might be here for the first game of summer league. And then August, it's all she wrote. And that goes for Jovan Buha, Lakers Nation, whoever you want to say creates Laker content. Just look at their views compared to what they do to the regular season. A lot of people take the summer off, and I don't blame them. But yes, if you're talking about, again, the hard work we put into this during the course of the season, that we give you at least 82 games worth during post games and all that, plus so many other shows be on top of that. That's the reason why. It's just we've done this before, diligently, and it's just not. It equates to pretty much the same thing. So, I know I had some stuff I had to deal with in my personal life. Got my daughter graduating from high school, wanted to attend some other things. Also, focus in on trying to boost the Lakers' latest numbers as well, and then also, of course, the Pop Culture Cosmos. But don't ever fear that the Lakers Fast Break is not far away from my heart. And of course, I always bring you the NBA observations. So this channel is not dead during the week. We bring you at least 2, 3, sometimes 4 NBA observation shows in a week. So they touch on the NBA and the Lakers. So please go ahead and check them out as well. I know you guys don't check them out as much. I know it's not a live show. I know it's not Joe ranting, but it's some really good stuff. I bring in experts from all over talking about the NBA and what's going on right there with the Lakers as well. Daruko, you might be a little disappointed to hear that he's getting a little bit more than that, according to some reports. I'm not saying me. I'm saying there's a real possibility. We'll get into that in a minute. Joe hopefully will be joining me here. He said, because I asked him if he wanted to do a show. He said, yeah, sure, let's do a show. With John Costa. Let me see if he is going to be making it. I do have an announcement on Lakerholics here. I'd like to go ahead and say as well. I know they didn't make it public, but he's not. When's the next show? Say not sure, but I will plan one out. So he's not going to make it tonight. Mr. Zoom Executive is doing executive things, so he's not executiving tonight. He's executiving tonight, so he can't make it tonight. But I will let him know when we're doing another show if we do one this week, which we may. But I will let you know. It's what I'm letting him know right now. But I wanted to go ahead and get you guys started on what's going on with Lakerholics. You know, Laker Tom, Jamie Sweet, Michael Heinrich, L. Rob, great guys, great contributors to this channel. And I'm hoping that will continue to be the case in whatever format or fashion or whatever they want to call themselves going forward. But as the Lakerholics site is, I'm going to have to say, for all intents and purposes, the Lakerholics.com site is dead. They have decided to shut it down. Too many problems and glitches. I think it did get hacked at one point, and it has now been listed as a phishing site. So instead of trying to constantly repair it, they've decided to shut it down moving forward. But they are in the works, possibly with something else as far as it's concerned. But I've also told them I've always left the door open for them if they wish to host another show on this channel going forward as well. So I wanted to go ahead and mention that. Yeah, as far as it's yeah, Daruko, I was disappointed to hear that. But Tom, I think, wants to take some time off. He also has his Medium article, Medium page that he does articles on. So he's still writing out there. But I left the door open for them if they want to go ahead and do shows on this channel going forward. But yeah, Lakerholics as a site is no more. And I'm sorry to see that go. But yeah, just too much pain going on behind the scenes to give you guys the truth on that. As far as maintaining it and running it, they had a lot of technical glitches, and they did get hacked on more than one occasion. So yeah, it was just cut your losses in there. And you can make an internet presence. Yes, absolutely. Always greatly appreciated on that, Druko. But again, I've told them they hopefully will be able to make it happen anytime they want to right here on the channel as well. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. But of course, great to have you guys here. I am back for more, doing a little bit of a live show, waiting for Joe to come on. But the topic at large, while the NBA finals are still going on, obviously heading to New York tomorrow, MSG. Do you guys have a spare $12,000 for me to go ahead and get a ticket? Oh, well, okay. I'm sorry. I just thought I'd ask because that's the lowest price right now is $12,000 per ticket. So there you go. Indeed. But Daruko, great to have you here again. Turd War, great to have you here. DBSH, always great to have you here. Yo, and Xbox, great to have you here as well. Again, Xbox killing it as always on the showcase. I do want to go ahead and start off with Austin Reaves, though. We're in the middle of all this because he has been bandied about. His name has been bandied about in the press during the finals because when you talk about a player that averages over 20 points a game that is available, or once he opts out, could make himself available for free agency, he is considered either at or near the top of everyone's list of marquee free agents, which is not a long list. It's just, let's just be honest and let's be frank about this. So there are more and more reports. Brad Turner from the LA Times earlier this week, or earlier last week, excuse me, on the Spectrum Sportsnet channel. Jovan Buha the week before kind of intimated that as well. They're hearing that now, upon listening to his representatives more, which is something I said he would do, and I've been saying this for a while, may ask the Lakers for a maximum contract, which would be, I believe, still 5 years, 241, if I'm not mistaken. Somehow 239 gets thrown about. I don't know if that's way, again, maybe that's still based off the league adjustments as far as I'm concerned. Because remember, the league calendar and the league adjustments, the official numbers don't come out until the end of this month, I believe. That's when they turn the calendar, or June 30th, excuse me. So maybe it's 239, maybe it's 241. 241 was the number that was bandied about for a long time. Now, also the fact that, remember, again, each and every year it might adjust based off that, again, the end, whatever the NBA's total salary allowances, what they will be. So let's just say 5 for 240. Let's just say 5 for 240 is what he will ask for. I know Daruko keeps going down and down and down. This is what he may ask for. And there's a strong possibility, according to Brad Turner, is that, according to the LA Times, is what he may ask for. And if that's the case, I want to hear your thoughts, because everybody out there seems to know the number that Austin Reaves is going to sign for. And I say, if you know that, then please go play the California lottery, go play the Powerball, go play whatever local numbers, or go make a bet right now, because if you are, then you know the future and you're predicting the future. And I don't think anybody out there serious or realistically knows the future 100% on exactly how much is going to be offered by the Lakers and how much is going to be asked for by the representatives of one Austin Reaves. And in the mix in all this are the teams that could be interested in Austin Reaves as well. So with that said, and look who's here, almost happy man indeed. Dodgers within the realm of the top spot overall in Major League Baseball, but today was, you know, they had to let the Angels win one. It is a good man indeed. It is Joe Soro. Joe, I'm good to have you here. I'll change your name here to Joe Soro in a second. There you go. Right there. All right. Good to have you here, my friend. How you been?
Good. Doing well. Thank you.
Good,
I was
good.
just on a call with my friend who had just arrived to the Philippines, and obviously there's some stuff going on over there, so I wanted to make sure he was okay.
And Daruko, yes, I know he has a 21 something million dollar. I don't, I forget the exact amount, but it's 21 million and something cap hold. I get that. I understand that. I mean, I've been called out on that at Lakers latest, and you guys all are worried about the first year, because again, it is a 21 million dollar cap hold. It is something where, okay, yeah, that's great. Everything above that in that year only won't count against the cap. But if he does sign for 48 million, $2.2 million on an average per year, let's just say he does a 5 for 240, because it changes, Joe. Earlier last week it was 239. Some people say 241. I've been hearing for a while. It's based on whatever the league ultimately sets its number at as far as financially each and every year going forward. Let's just be honest. So let's just round off to say 5 for 240. When I heard what Jovan Buha said about a week ago, stating, and by the way, DBSH, I got your comment here in a second. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate the super chat. He had stated and started talking to Chris Mannix like it's a very genuine possibility he could be getting the max. Chris Turner, I believe. Was it Chris Turner? From the LA Times. I forget. Turner from the LA Times. I'll get his name right here in a second. He said on Spectrum Sportsnet that he is hearing that Austin's representatives and Austin are going to be saying that they want the max as well. So you have clearly said, and I am in that same boat with you. We're riding on that same boat right around Catalina Island somewhere, that we would never even approach that number with Austin Reaves. But with other teams that could possibly be interested in getting him, that beloved $21 million hold in the first year only that people talk about and people love so much. They always forget the other 4 years, Joe. They only worry about this 1 year that there's the cap hold. They only worry about this 1 year. Never worry about the other 4 years that you're going to be on the hook for them. We're on that boat, Joe, as saying we would never approach that number with Austin Reaves. But with other teams, possibly Brooklyn, Chicago, there have been other teams rumored to go ahead and, as far as sources are concerned, stating that they might dump assets in order to get the money to pay for Austin Reaves. How interesting of a summer is it, or will it be for an Austin Reaves? And are you, I mean, are we sure he is not going to make that money?
There's always a chance, but it's not likely. There's
You keep saying that, and I keep hearing.
I don't see any scenario.
Chris Turner, by the way.
I don't see any scenario where someone's going to offer him the max. And first of all, the max isn't really the max if a team comes in with a 4-year max deal.
Another team could do 4-year 180 unless there's a sign and trade, Joe.
Correct. Correct. That's not the max. That's the league doesn't have a max when it comes to someone leaving their current team who has his bird rights. The max is what the Lakers can give him. The 180 is, I'd say, doable if you are a team that's maybe an Austin Reaves away from going to the second or third round in the East, something like that. I don't know who at this point. Would it be Chicago? Probably not. I don't think they're an Austin Reaves away from making it into the deep. Well, maybe it is. Maybe they are. Who knows? We'll have to.
They've got the most money of anyone.
The East, yeah, the East is flexible that way. I mean, no one thought the New York Knicks were going to do what they did. No one thought that even Cleveland Cavaliers would go to the Eastern Conference Finals. They knew that they were going to be competitive, but everyone had Boston going, and maybe the Knicks, but no one was thinking about Cleveland. Anyways, Austin Reaves at 180 makes a little bit more sense. Austin at 240, no. Not on a team that needs someone who can play a full season and also get better in the playoffs. See, that's the other thing that we need to talk about, because we've already done the Austin struggled in the playoff bit. We don't need Austin Reaves to be Austin Reaves in the playoffs. If you look at all of the number ones and number twos, number threes even, in past championships, they get better in the playoffs. So now you're asking yourself, okay, Austin Reaves will play well in the regular season when he's available, but will he exceed that? Because that's probably what they'll need to go deep into the playoffs, especially if he's going to be the second highest paid player on the team, especially if he's going to be, by default, the second guy on the team. And there's just not a very realistic scenario there where you can convince me that he's a number 2 on the team. He's not. He isn't. He's not a number 2. He is a 3 at best, but ideally a guy that should be the X factor on a title team. And that is who he is. And that's probably what he'll always be, unless he changes his workout regimen, loses 15 pounds, gets a little bit more athletic. It's not going to be athletic like the natural guys. No, it's just not. His genetics don't say it, but he could get better, to him. But I'm sorry, I'm just not going to buy any of it. I'm not buying any of this. And of course he wants the max. When I read that twice, and this is why I stay away from the internet when it comes to this stuff, because all these chumps who talk about this stuff, including the chumps that criticize us for being vocal about it, you're a chump. And the reason why this show isn't big yet is because we haven't sucked anyone's dingling to do it. And for me, I'm sure Gerald doesn't want to do that either.
I'm not in the mood. No, sorry.
That's not how we roll here. So is that what it's going to take for all those people out there to say, hey, you're to this and you're to that? I'll tell you what, we may be a lot of things, but wrong is very, very little. Who's going to convince anyone on June 7th, 2026, that Austin Reaves is a giant disappointment for the third year in a row when it mattered? You know what's amazing about that analysis, Gerald? This has nothing to do with anything but the results. When people don't like the results, this is the reaction. When people don't like the tone, that plays a part too. But I'm not here to wipe your ass. We're not here to wipe your ass, wipe your snot. Sometimes we get a little bit more emotional. Depends on the day, maybe. But in the end, we're still saying the same thing. The same thing is, you want to pay Austin Reaves the max, you're probably not thinking too well, unless there is a way out of this, Gerald. Because of the cap hold, they get fair market value in year one. But you better, and I mean you better, if you were to do what they shouldn't, you better have him ready to go out for something better next year.
See, that's the problem, Joe. Let me bring it to you. Once again, this is the Lakers fast break. It is Lakers weekend. It's Joe Soro along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. By the way, John Costa, if you didn't hear earlier, he will try to join us if we do a show later this week. Same thing for Legend. Legend's on vacation. John is Zoom executiving right now, so that's what Zoom executives do. DBSH says AR-15 is worth like $60 million, I'd say. The DBSH, I love you, man. I love you, bro. But I mean, maybe dollars amount to the Lakers in revenue, whatever he generates as far as merchandising sales and things of that nature. But this is the player, Joe, again, in the playoffs, who you could probably fairly say is inconsistent at best. He has not been able to give you what you need when you needed it the most. And I understand he's coming off an injury, but he going off of his previous seasons in the playoffs, it's been very much a mixed bag as well. When he tried really hard on defense against Jamal Murray, his offense was absolutely terrible. He just cannot give you what he needs to give you. And defensively, as we saw in game 4 against OKC, he was absolutely abysmal. SGA was ripping apart both AR and Luke Kennard on defense because JJ went away from the hard double teams against him, put them on an island, and guess what? He left those guys out to dry. So I'm just going to say this again. If you pay him like he's the second highest paid player in the team, and I get it, I understand this beloved cap hold, but like you said, Joe, how attractive will he be? Let's just say he gets, free agent syndrome where he signs and he doesn't produce the level that he does in previous season. Let's just say he gets down to right around 20 points as opposed to 25. Let's just say he gets around to 4.5, 5 assists and 4.5, 5 rebounds. Is that worth $48 million roughly on the open marketplace? That you have to try and trade because that won't look so good in following seasons if he's still your second highest paid player.
Reaves would have to turn into Klay Thompson from a shooting standpoint.
He was at 40% in the second year of his career, Joe, but it's gone downhill since.
40% is...
Or just down.
You notice stats. You hear the old cliche, numbers don't lie. I think that was towards more like if somebody had an accounting on something and you can't lie about that accounting. Sports is different, completely different. Would you consider Rui Hachimura a sniper?
During the playoffs? Yeah, absolutely.
So you consider him a sniper? or just a good 3-point shooter when he gets the shot?
Well, he is currently averaging over 50% in the playoffs. He's the all-time leading playoffs three-point shooter. I mean,
Right.
during the
So
playoffs, I mean, how much more closer can you get to being a
right.
sniper than
So
that?
when you have somebody that can shoot like that, wouldn't you think you want to see more of that during a game so that you can win games?
Well,
See,
JJ didn't at the very last play.
so the in sports, stats can be deceiving. You could be hitting 40% from three, but at what point? When is it? Because we've heard the term empty stats for years, right? There was a guy named Al Jefferson that used to play for the Celtics who got traded he got traded in the KG deal. He was a 29 guy or 2010 guy at that time. Now it doesn't. I can't really go into numbers these days because everybody gets numbers these days because the game is completely different. But back then, here was a big that was averaging 20 and 10, and the Celtics stunk. Not all 10 and 20 and 10s are made the same. Same thing with the 40% three-point shooter. What you need Austin Reaves to be when it comes to 40% is when the end of the game comes and he hits that shot, and he doesn't. He gets out he gets out athleticized, and I know that's not a real word, but that's the athleticism is a detriment to his progress. So if he's not going to fundamentally combat that and obviously hit better shots in today's game the way you need to, he's rendered useless in these games. That's why being a second and third guy is a hindrance for him. If he's coming off the bench, if he's playing as part of this particular lineup during a certain part of the game where he can really flourish, that will work. But he's not him when it matters. And you cannot pay someone who's not him on a motivated team that wants to go win championships. This is the LA Lakers. This is not the New Orleans Hornets, or I'm sorry, Pelicans, or the Charlotte Hornets. It's the LA Lakers. No one gives a damn about the second round. No one celebrates the second round. At least I don't. Anyways,
I don't.
You don't. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Well, the Lakers have two choices. They get the deal they want, or they overpay Reaves in preparing a possibility of moving him next year. But that is a risk. That's a huge risk.
Because if it gets a downturn in play, Joe, like as you and I have seen over the years with free agents, they get what I call free agent syndrome, where they sign and they either start a history of injuries then, or they just never perform to the play that they had before they signed that contract, which is a very real possibility if you're for a guy that again was undrafted, has worked hard to get to where he's at, but again is also limited by a lot of the things that other players in the NBA take for granted as far as athleticism and other things as far as good. He has to work hard for everything he has gotten. If he does not continue to do that or do more, then there could be a problem, because sometimes, human nature, Joe, people get complacent sometimes when they get that kind of money.
I don't know if he'll get complacent. I don't have an answer to that. I don't.
So,
yeah,
you
I
never
don't.
know. Well,
I
I'm
don't.
just putting it out there because we've seen it before. Remember Joe McIlvaine?
Well, that's a different story.
No, but I mean,
he was never good. I don't know why they paid him that much money. He was never good, even in that last year before he got his contract. I never understood.
Jerome James, the Lakers' two signings: Luol Deng, Timofey Mozgov.
I don't have proof of this, but that was a sabotage. There's no way that made any sense.
Those were the first two signees.
That was Mitch going, F the buses here. I'm going to do this on my way out.
Those two signees, too, of free agency. Do you remember
that? I mean, the first call you make is Timofey Mozgov. Mozgov, that was your first call at 12:01. That was the part that really, I remember that vividly, by the way. Vividly. On Lakers ball. Somebody had mentioned something about Mozgov being the first call at 12:01. I'm like, hold on a second. You're telling me the Lakers called Timofey Mozgov, who averaged 1 point and 1 rebound in the 2016 playoff run? 1 point from a guy that's 7 feet tall that looks like a bear who averaged 1 point and 1 rebound. I really, really believe, Gerald, even out of shape, I could get 2 points and 2 rebounds in an NBA game. I'm sure I could. In some way, I can somehow get a ball into that hoop somehow and get 2 rebounds. Anyways, the Lakers have priority one right now, in my view, to focus first on, and that is the draft. And they're going to have to hit at that stupid 25 pick, which is just enough to sort of do something and just enough to not do anything. Because a lot of times, at least lately, the second round picks are almost a better pick because, and look at Oklahoma City, they've proven that, because you're not in that area of, oh, okay, there's still enough talent on this board. It's just like no man's land. So I remember Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler was picked 30th by the Bulls. Can they find a Jimmy Butler without the pansiness? That's kind of what I'm looking at here. If they can find a hit at 25, that expedites this thing so much more, because they don't have a pick in the second round. And buying one, okay. I don't know the history of buying a pick and picking the right guy. I don't know about that. I have to go look at the history of that. But they have to hit on this one. They have to find someone that can play some defense and hit some shots at 25. They have to get that guy. And then once free agency starts, you tell Austin Reaves, go find your money and come back. Go find your money and come back. And we'll see what we can do. LeBron can wait. LeBron can wait until things get set. And then if the Lakers feel like they can't get anybody to replace LeBron, then you can sign LeBron back for one more year.
I did a cringe job earlier this week. I don't know if you caught James Worthy, the immortal James Worthy, who we love here on this show. He was on with Kevin O'Connor on Yahoo Sports, and he was talking about the possibility of AR getting the max. And then he also just quickly dropped about LeBron possibly getting the max. And I was just like, oh, shuddered there. It's just like, I got a cold chill. Yes, he said the word max. I actually rewound it and played it again. But he said he just said possibly. It was just like, he was just trying to be courteous. In his position, I'm sure he's got to say some things that, appease certain people, because remember, he works for the Lakers station in and of itself. So with that said, Joe, I think we just need to focus in, like you said, on building the foundations for this team going forward with Luka in his prime. And as we saw in the series with Cleveland and New York, if you have two below average defenders in the backcourt, that's a tough task to get when you get to a high level, because there's usually a guard on the other side at that level of the playoffs that's going to break either one of those players down. And we saw with James Harden, and to even a lesser extent, Mitchell as well, Donovan Mitchell, they both got burned repeatedly by Brunson time and time again in that championship round, and were, like the Lakers, swept out of it. It is imperative that the Lakers find solutions and not just try to pony up and try to make things all sweet and have the gang back together again. And when I hear any of his thoughts of these, bringing back the core three or bringing back the majority of the group, I just feel that's like a recipe for mediocrity, or a recipe for just going back to, flash forwarding a year and we're talking about the same thing once again.
Yeah, again, the whole LeBron thing is, LeBron would have to. Here's LeBron's, for those of you who are talking about LeBron, the Lakers are one of really three teams that have a lot of money in this summer. One being the Bulls, the other being the Brooklyn Nets. I just don't see LeBron going to Chicago or the Nets. I don't see the Chicago Bulls throwing $50 million at LeBron either. Yeah, they're almost $70 million in cap space. I doubt they're going to spend $50 million of that on LeBron. I mean, Jerry Reinsdorf has done some crazy things in his life. I just don't think he'd do that, especially seeing his history. You know, he broke up a three-peat team because he wanted to, you know, rebuild. But anyways, LeBron will have to take what he can take. And for me, ideally, I wouldn't mind having him come back for 20 mil if he's a better option in terms of talent than what they can get. We don't really know what they're going to do. We don't know what kind of trade that could happen. We don't know anything right now. We have to see how this plays out. But the things that they can control are two things, and one of them we're talking about now and sort of talked about a little bit just now, which is the draft and making sure that Austin Reaves has a market that dictates what he should get paid, not what the Lakers should get paid. They should not be competing with themselves, because if they lose Austin Reaves, it will hurt, but it won't hurt as much as it would paying him the max.
Yeah, and I get that. And again, people throw that Vontae.
And this is different than the D'Angelo Russell thing that I was talking about a few years back. The Lakers were over the cap. You had to sign him because you lose that money. If you had lost D'Lo without paying him, now that money's gone. You can't use him to trade anybody. You see what I'm saying? There's a difference. The Lakers are under the cap now. So if they lose Austin Reaves, it's not the same. They just get more cap space now. And then now they can probably get a couple players for that number. And now you're building depth. And now you might be able to get some athletes in here that are available this summer, which I don't know there's not a lot of talent, known like big name talent, but maybe there's some fillers in there that could work. We'll have to wait and see.
And again, I understand the financial benefits for this year only for signing Austin Reaves to any type of contract and retaining him for this team, because I understand it's the cap hold of 21 million and whatever change that's on it, and that anything above it does not count against the cap. I get it. I understand it. People throw that in my face like it's a wet rag, but I have to come back at you. They never have an answer for me if you do not get that kind of output in years 2, 3, 4, and 5. And Joe says, okay, we'll try to get rid of him. But even Joe knows if he does not play to that contract that he is about to sign here in about a month, or agree to in a month, Joe, it's going to be hard to move a guy, because $50 million in a salary cap minded league, as the NBA is, with Oklahoma City about ready to make some major changes financially. Cleveland is about ready to make some major changes financially. If Austin Reaves starts to slip as a player, starting after he signs that contract, it is going to be harder to get rid of that contract.
Unless you're about to get a big star. But you don't know. You don't know. That's a chance you're taking. And it's a chance you don't need to take. There is some talent. There is some talent in this free agency. It's young, middle of the road names, but middle of the road names that some they could get better, some that might be the right fit with Luka and the style of play that they'll play with him.
Watson, Ayo Dosunmu.
There's some guys out there. I look, I'm not saying they're going to get these guys, but again, Lou Dort has a club option, right? Is that correct?
Yes, they do have a team option on him.
Well, there's a lot of things we don't know yet. I think this
and
is
Hartenstein
probably
as well,
right.
Just to let you know.
Hartenstein kind of let himself down a little bit on especially the last few games. But we need to see how this opens up first before we could talk free agents, because I don't want to go into if and what and when, and then all of a sudden they get picked up. But there's some players out there that could work, that could fit. They're not exactly the big name or even middle of the road big name, or let's say mid to high grade type players. Maybe they're middle of the road, but maybe they become better with the Lakers. Maybe we get them at the right time. I mean, Kobe White, even though he's a PG, he's a point guard. Who knows? He's 26. He's going
a
to
scorer. He's just a scorer. Joe.
And maybe the Lakers need another scorer. I don't know. I'm just throwing that name out there because he's
off the
he's a free
bench.
agent.
They do. He
right?
would be great off the
He'd
bench.
be great off the bench. Thybulle's going to be. He's 29. He's still got a lot going on.
Thybulle's all right. You shoot better than Thybulle.
Well, again, it sometimes a little bit of defense off the bench might help too. I don't know. There's not really an understanding of what's available until it's actually official, and then at that point, because I don't think Detroit's gonna. I think Detroit's going to match any contract that Jalen Duren gets. I think that would be ideal at center for us. He's 22
and Utah
years old.
with Walker Kessler.
Right. I don't think Mark Williams is going to be an option, even though he's young and could be something there. I think they'll sign him back in Phoenix. Dwight Powell, kind of old, but a nice vet. Maybe you can get him for cheap. I think that'd be a nice backup guy instead of maybe you move on from Jackson Hayes. And this is all going to be all these players that I'm talking about. There's going to be a lot of kind of the executive minds coming together and going, okay, which guy, maybe they use some analytics. They realize, oh, this guy's pretty healthy throughout the year. This guy will solve this over here. You're going to get a little bit more analyzation with these guys versus what you probably had with Rob and the Dinkises over there before Mark Walters' group goes there. These guys are going to be sophisticated in how they build this next phase, which is why I'm not really worried about the roster construction. I'm really not. A lot of what I feel right now with Austin is there's no way they're going to give him $240 million. Just don't see it. I just don't see it. If they do, I would be in shock. And I think if they do it, they would have to have some kind of plan. It couldn't be just them signing. There's no reason, in my view, to ever give Austin Reaves the max. I'm sorry. I just can't. I can't roll with that unless they think they can trade him next year for something of significance. But you can't know that. How the hell would you know that?
But if he has a down year after he signs that contract, he becomes harder to trade for whatever big marquee fish you might want on the other end next year.
I don't know.
Playing to his contract of $14 million is a lot easier than playing it to $48 million. The expectations do have a tendency to go up.
It doesn't really matter if the other star is saying I got to go to LA or I'm not going. But next year, I'm still crossing my fingers here that Giannis is not likely going to probably make it till next year. I think it's if anything he'll. Plus, I don't think he wants to come to LA. I haven't heard much.
East Coast is what I've heard.
Yeah, that's fine. Again, he's probably not going to be an ideal suitor, but I am holding a little bit of room for Mr. Jokic over there in Denver.
We'll see.
Because I mean, it makes sense because of the way that it's structured, right? So let's say Jokic doesn't sign the extension. Let's just placate this a little bit. Mm-hmm. And he goes, you know what? I want to test the market. Come on, guys. You're telling me that Luka's not going to have a little bit of an advantage there? An open spot to be the center of the LA Lakers with his boy? Man, that changes the dynamics in the West. I tell you that. All this Wemby love and all this Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and the 50 draft picks by the OKC Thunder. My God, what would happen if Luka and Jokic? You want to talk about interest in the NBA blowing up? Jokic going to LA next year? That's something to talk about, even if it's fantasy. I think that's a cool thing. I really do. Especially after a year where you may have a NBA championship in New York. Your interest in big city New York, big city LA starts to go up again because who the hell wants to see San Antonio and Oklahoma City? I don't.
Well, 19 million people are just saying right now San Antonio and New York because they reached what almost 20 million people as far as U.S. and
Is that
viewership.
is how much in the U.S.?
16, and then at the high peak was in that first game, almost 20
Mhm.
million.
So why do you think it was so high?
New York media market, of
You
course,
think it was New
and
York?
the fascination with Wemby being him possibly being fronted as the new big face of the NBA.
Okay, so Wemby and New York.
It's much
Okay.
more attractive than it was last year with Oklahoma City and Indiana by over what
Anybody know
10
why the,
about
the
10 million.
NBA didn't have a game today, by the way? Did something weird happen?
Yeah, just they took 2 days off, I guess for travel purposes. But I really was thinking Sunday was going to be the day because Sunday is usually the best, one of the better views. Sunday and Thursday night seem to be the best viewing days for a Stanley Cup or slash NBA Finals or slash World Series. But yeah, they decided to go ahead the 2 travel days and make it Monday night. It'll still garner great ratings, Joe. But usually people on Sunday nights are. I mean, look at the NFL, how well they do on Sundays.
I'm just puzzled at how you could
I'm
fumble.
assuming it's the travel days,
You could fumble a
supposedly.
Sunday with New York playing in a
I would have
pivotal
done Sunday.
game. How do you?
I agree.
What don't we know that these guys know?
I would have definitely done a Sunday. There was nothing going on today in the world of sports that
Would
would
you
have
say that? But
succeeded
let's
with.
let's talk about that for a second. We're talking about. Didn't the NBA hasn't the NBA been hurting a lot lately? How are they? How did they get to what was it? 18 million for game one?
The average was 16 and a half, if I remember correctly, and it was the high in the fourth quarter. I think it went up to nearly 20.
So what does it mean when I hear no one's watching the NBA when 20 million people are watching the NBA?
Well, remember, because last year they weren't. They were under 10 million, if I remember correctly.
Okay, so it doubled because the Knicks are in it.
I would say just the Knicks, but also the fascination with Wemby. But you're right. It's just some. I mean, maybe Oklahoma City just doesn't get people interested. I don't know. It's a combination of things, but I think the New York part of it has really something to do with it, Joe.
I don't know. I've become a cynical, jaded person. I don't even know what I don't know.
But well,
These guys are having regional contract issues all over the place in all these sports. Yet they have the ratings are up to yin yang. I don't get the two.
Craig, just to let you know, I'm looking at StubHub right now. The lowest tickets I'm seeing are around $5,800 for two. That's in the upper section. Just want to let you know. The top is $162,000 for two, near courtside. So just to let you know for tomorrow's game. But I did want to ask you this. I know that Rui's name has been bandied about in the chat, and that's something obviously we deal with. And I talked about earlier how he is 40 to 42% during the regular season, but in the playoffs, and this is not just one playoffs, Joe. This is repeated multiple playoffs. He is now the all-time leader in three-point percentage. I think that if the Lakers have a desire to retain him, I would have heard more buzz about it. I personally think that he's going to sign somewhere else because there's teams out there, playoff teams, average teams, or even upper level teams, Joe, that might be interested in the services just because of what he do. Like you said, whether or not you call him a sniper, you cannot deny that he has performed better in the playoffs than he has during the regular season.
Well, this was his first one where he
First,
performed well. First good playoff run. He struggled the last few years.
sure,
Yeah,
I don't agree with that.
yeah. He
I
had
think he
issues. He had issues making layups. I vividly
well, he
remember.
always has issue making layups. I'm talking about from deep.
Uh,
Yeah, he has issues every yeah, he
yeah,
never
you can't. I mean, how do you judge a performance really when you get swept from a player?
Mhm.
I don't know. This is about winning. I don't give a shit about numbers. Luca is a beast, and he shoots what 36% from three. I mean, come
But
on.
I'm
I
talking
don't.
about the attractiveness
I think
for
that
other
this
teams.
fascination with numbers, especially nowadays, where numbers are just is the most insignificant. You have anyone and everyone having triple doubles here and there every game. It's just different.
He was fantastic during the Memphis series. He was really good against Golden State that next series.
I wouldn't say
Faded against Denver. Both Denver series, he was eh. But against this Minnesota, he shot almost 50% from three and 50% from the field. And then, of course, we know what he did this playoff. So actually, he's actually pretty good overall during the playoffs.
Whatever.
I'm just stating. But again, I just
Sweep
think he will
five.
probably not. He will not be on the Lakers next season. I don't think,
Was it
because again,
sweep 5-5 sweep. The Lakers have won the last when they've been eliminated the last 4 seasons. They've only won 2 playoff games in those 4 series.
oh, I understand what the team result was. I'm just telling you what his result, and I'm just saying if it was said earlier in the chat, the desire to keep Rui on this team. I think it's just harder because of what he has done in the postseason on a personal level, not a team level, on a personal level, and the fact that there are going to be teams that might bid on his services that might pry him away from the Lakers because the Lakers are not treating him as a higher priority.
There's no priority in my view of anyone at this point except getting the 25th pick to hit. Everything else is replaceable, in my view. That's it. And Lucas doesn't count on that because he's already signed. So I don't give a shit. I'm sorry, I don't. Okay, Rui played good all 3 years in some of your eyes. Okay, great. I don't give a shit. The results are right there. Whether it's his fault or not, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant to me. He's a depth guy. He's a starter, a guy off the bench, and understand where I'm coming from here. His availability is very suspect in my view, and to me, I don't take anybody there seriously. I don't take Austin Reaves' focus on golf during the offseason very seriously. I don't see any of that. And he's as a me standing there and going, yes, we have to do this. No, because the results say these guys are either not talented or they're not doing enough to be important in the important times. And you can say that they lost this year because Luka wasn't there, and you're right. It's true. But this isn't the one time. This isn't the first time we've seen this. This has been a habit. So if Rui wants to come back on a 3-year, $60 million a year contract, I think that's fair. But you can't pay for sure Austin the max at that point. You gotta use his money on at least 2 guys that can play defense, because Rui can't play singular defense. Good maybe in team defense a little bit, but this team needs some defense if they're not going to have somebody that can shoot the lights out, which is something I've been screaming about with Austin Reaves. That's the question that I would ask him after he would come back from his free agency. If he comes back with a deal and the Lakers are like, okay, that sounds doable. However, before we go on to that, what are you going to do this summer? Because if I hear you're playing golf more than I hear about you working out, you can go wherever you want to go. I'm sorry. I'm not. I don't. I didn't. I never heard guys that are winning. I mean, LeBron James is playing golf apparently now, but LeBron James, Shaquille O'Neal, guys like that who goofed off during the offseason brought the results and won championships. So they're kind of what did I just say again? Results. It's about the results. And if you're not producing results, then all those things become magnified. You and your farmer tan that I see every time during training camp. I'm like, what is this? What is this golf? Oh well, he's a human being. He's got to relax. I go, I got to relax too. How about if I relax? Maybe I should relax so that my wife can take care of the mortgage too. Well, how about that? Does that work? Is that okay, Gerald? I got to relax. So I'm gonna go let somebody
I'm
else
still
do my
waiting for that.
business.
I'm still waiting for that Austin golf video so I can send it over to you. Still, I look forward to like once a week. I just go, can I find Austin on the fairway? And I haven't yet. I haven't yet. But when I do,
Austin can go play golf all he wants, and then go earn 20 to 25 million a year for 4 years. My hat's off to you. Almost 50 million a year? Hell no.
now
Hell no.
Ruff says LeBron's got a video of playing golf tape, but that's
LeBron he's already put in the work. He's already got the results. So that's a different story. Guys, not all things are equal. You got to follow me here. Come on.
It did show that Austin and Luca were doing what you were hoping doing, and that was as far as in practice. Well, I'm just maybe a workout today, but I thought Luca was still overseas. That could have been from practice during the
Well,
season.
Luca, from what I've read, and the reason why he didn't play in the international game this summer is because he needs to take care of whatever's going on with his kids. And
Yeah, that's what I thought. He
needed the
made a
summer
statement for that. Yeah.
Yeah. And my hope is that he stays in shape and continues to stay in shape, because the reason why it's not good to get out of shape and get into shape when you're a professional athlete is what ended up happening at the end of the year. The body was stressed so much, which is part of why when you listen to a lot of these bodybuilders and in terms of recovery, a lot of people who you only hear really more about the duds that end up dying young. You don't listen to the guys that actually are a little bit more disciplined in what they're doing, even though they are on stuff. But they all preach the same thing when they were champions. It's recovery, recovery, recovery. And you can't recover when you're constantly going back and forth on your weight loss and getting in shape and weight loss and getting in shape. It's got to be something consistent and sustained. Otherwise, you do risk breaking the body down. So I'm hoping that Luka maintains what he's been doing this summer so that when he goes into next season, because this was not a break in a bone or a torn ligament. This was a soft tissue injury. You cannot have a soft tissue injury taking you out when you're Luka Doncic. That's unacceptable. I'm sorry. You cannot let that happen. And the stress plays a part in that too, guys. Stress is the worst, in my view. From what I've seen people around me, it is the worst thing to have in your life. It damages your body, the cortisol in your body, all that stuff. It just stress destroys people. I've seen friends of mine that are so anxiety ridden that you can't even go to a get together without them worrying about stupid shit because they're always under stress. They're like old ladies, old men. There is something chemical that starts to deteriorate in an old person's mind, and they have at least an excuse there. But what do you do when a 30-year-old man is acting like a bitch? What do you do then? Well, you stop hanging out with him when you go out to Vegas and stuff, because we're not here to babysit babies, and a lot of people are like that out there. Do not be stressed unless it's the stress of being better. There's a huge difference between being stressed, taking a test, and stressed about life, like not seeing your kids and picking the wrong chick, which these guys half the time do.
Once again, it's the Lakers fast break. Didn't know you get that advice, did you? It is, of course, Joe Sorrell along with me.
Well, Gerald, the storm of 2021 taught me a lot the last 5 years of how bad it is when you marry the wrong person. And a lot of these friends of mine had kids.
Yeah, not saying you have. Let's just, for the record, you've completely been honest about your great relationship with your wife.
Well, the thing is, you all don't know that either. I might be lying. So
That's why I did not meet his family. When we saw each
But this
other.
is important
We met
because
in
it,
person.
it 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 plays a part because everybody loves to get into people's business, so it makes sense.
Okay. I
But
just want to say for the record, I did not meet his family. I just take his word for it.
yeah, I mean, I could be
When we met
lying.
in person.
Yeah, it could be a lie. It could be a lie. And by the way, there's a difference between being stressed and maybe. I'm not dogging everybody that separates. Some people just aren't compatible after a while, or people grow apart. Hey, cool. I get that. But we all know that the problem I'm talking about, the fact that people are threatening to not bring your kids over, and then you got that numbnuts in Minnesota who likes to pay people off for 18 years. This is the disgusting life of these people, and this plays a part in their inability to be focused and able to be healthy enough to play. You just look at it, right? But we're going in. There's a mental part in this game. It's already difficult if you do it right. And I always use the same scenario with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. Folks, there was a 9-year period. 9 years. That's triple the average career of an NFL player. 9. There was a period where the best quarterback on the planet and the best coach on the planet, with arguably the best dynasty of all time that lasted, 20 years? They didn't win a Super Bowl for 9 years. That's how hard it is. And these guys are focused. They're focused people. They know what they're doing. So imagine when you're not focused. Imagine when you don't know what you're doing. It's and then even on top of that, you still need luck. No, I don't think LeBron has earned a statue. 805. Sorry.
He'll get one though. He's gonna get one. Sorry. Doesn't matter if you think he earned one. Doesn't matter
if Wilt didn't get one, LeBron's not getting one with one. If anybody was going to get one, it'd be Wilt. But I don't see LeBron.
I would give Wilt one. Yeah, but he's going to get one. I bet you he's going to get one. It's the Lakers we're talking about, man. I want to see them move on. I just want to see like the umbilical cord. I want to see them detach and move on from the LeBron era. This is the Lakers we're talking about.
I had a talk with the boys about Wilt Chamberlain and what keeps him away from the all-time. Statistically, obviously, he's got a lot of room there, but his Lakers stint could have changed his narrative in a way where he might have dwarfed even Kareem. I'm sorry. I know I wasn't there. I didn't watch, but in the research I've done and some of the information that I've gathered, and even watching some of the games in '72, there are a few games I was able to watch from beginning to end that weren't, that were somewhat watchable. I'm sorry. You can't lose to New York when Willis Reed is injured in 1970. You can't lose to Boston in '69 when you were the better team, and you can't lose in '73. You got to win those three. Wilt should have went 4 for 4 with that team. I'm sorry. He should have went 4 for 4. And if he does that, he wins 5 championships in his amazing career. And I would say, without a doubt, would have been the greatest center, without a doubt, ever. And Kareem would be second at that point, in my view. But he didn't have that extra winning gear, and there's a lot of information out there explaining why he didn't win at Kansas either. So you can't sit there and blame it on the Boston Celtics were stacked. You're right, they were stacked. When he lost to Boston when he was in San Francisco, that was probably one of the best Celtics teams ever, was the 64 team. But 69, up 3-2, you got to win that series. I'm sorry. You're Wilt Chamberlain. You got to win that series. 1970, Willis Reed hurt. You got to win that series. You got to win it. You beat New York in 72 and you lose to them a year later. I'm just not buying it. I'm not going to buy it, and I'm never going to buy it. Winning and losing, fair or not, is the dictator of who you are. It's just, that's how it is. It just what it is. And all this discussion about Austin Reaves and Rui and all this, guys, what happens when you keep doing the same thing over and over again and it's not working?
Well, let me ask you this, because Daruko said AR, Rui, and Hayes will win us a championship with Luka.
So when they go into the offseason here soon, we are Laker fans should relax and wait to see how they do in the draft and then let the game come to them from there. I'm not interested in fantasy stuff.
By the way, that message is from Craig on that and Craig lived it. I was a baby at that time, so I can't say for sure. Again, I've only seen the footage you've seen, but Craig lived it. So
my research, it's only so much I can do because I couldn't watch the games, is that there's verbiage coming from Bill Russell that's different. He did not care about anything but winning. And he did have a lot of talent around him, so that helped. But to win that much and to beat Wilt that much, except for 67 got him in he got in 67. That should have been the shift, in my view. That should have been the shift. Because Russell had been there for a while. Wilt came in 62, I believe. 1962 was a rookie, 61, 62. That should have been the beginning of the Wilt era, 67. And then come to the Lakers and you win. I'll give him this. You should have won it 3 out of the 4 at the very least. Let's say 73, they were burnt out, tired. I know Harry Hairston, I guess, was a big part of that particular team that year, and he got injured. And I don't know if I could use that as an excuse. Again, I wasn't watching the games then, but he should have at least won 3 out of the 4. And that whole narrative would have changed, in my view, because there's nothing to be ashamed of to losing to the Celtics in 64, and there's nothing to be ashamed of if you lose a certain series because you're either on the downhill of your career, because I think he retired the following year, and then so did Jerry West. But this winning is just tough, man. It's a tough thing to figure out. It really is. But and there's a lot of randomness that's happening in the NBA right now, too. We have to understand that there's a shift that's happened, guys. Think about this for a second. The most parodied decade in NBA history was in the 70s, up until this decade. At this point, this decade is becoming the most parodied era of basketball ever. Because if you look at the 70s, you at least still had 2 teams in that decade that won 2 championships. And a lot of those teams were going to back-to-back championships, even though they lost one, won one. And this decade, you have had one singular team, and not even like it's been one team and that's it. They haven't even returned. They haven't even, like, the Lakers didn't win a championship 7 years later or 6 years later. It's been Lakers, Bucks, Golden State, Denver, Celtics, Oklahoma City, and now it's going to be a new champion, either the San Antonio Spurs or the Knicks. Every single year, all 7 teams, one team, and that's it. At least in the 70s, you had the Knicks win in 70 and 73. You had Boston win in 74 and 76. These guys have turned it into, in a lot of ways, baseball. But even baseball, I don't think, has had that. Even in baseball, think about that for a second. Baseball has had the most champions since 1985. The whole salary cap bullshit narrative. They've had more champions in baseball since 1985, because that was the first year that the 4 major sports had a salary cap. The NBA had it in 85. Since that time, baseball without a salary cap has still had more champions than any of the sports, the four major sports. Even with baseball in the 2000s, the Yankees won in 2000 and in 2009. In the 2010s through the 2019s, you had the Giants win 3 times. And the Red Sox win twice. But this is the most parity. It might be the most parried, if it continues like this, most parity ever in any sport. You might have one singular champion in all 10 years, because right now it's on year 7. Next year, 8, 9, and 10. You got 3 more years to have 3 different champions that haven't won this decade. And it would be unprecedented. Even the 80s, I think the 80s, the Dodgers were able to win 2 in the 80s. I think that's the only decade that I can remember where you really had pretty much anybody, one different team every year. I think it was only the 80s where the Dodgers won in 81 and 88. The Phillies in 80, St. Louis in 82, Baltimore in 83, Tigers in 84, Royals in 85, although St. Louis got robbed in that series. 86 was the Mets, Twins in 87, Dodgers in 88, 89 with the A's. That right now is looking like the only one, I think. But it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff, and a lot of things are changing. And my view right now is Mark Walter has taken over, and I have confidence in it. I have confidence that they're going to make the right choices.
Once again, it is, of course, Lakers weekend, Lakers Fast Break. It is Joe Sorrell from, of course, go ahead and check out his great channel along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching and listening. Daruko is still adamant that Rui, AR, and Hayes are the Lakers' new core. And my response is, if they are the new core to build around with Luka,
you're not. He's trolling. I'm not going to acknowledge his comments. He's trolling.
If he seems pretty genuine in his thoughts.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
Okay.
He's not
all right. Well,
around.
I'm just saying, if that's your core,
Luka is a rental until he resigns. What the fuck does that? He just resigned already.
He's already signed for several years.
Yeah, I don't even know what. Look, at least get your information correct if you're going to yap and troll. If you're going to be a troll with information that makes sense, guys. Do you not understand that we know what's going on?
He says you love LeBron too much,
and that's that right there. That's the cherry on the cake. There you go.
That's the most hilarious thing I've heard this year, Daruko. If
I love no one but my family and close friends. I don't like anyone else.
He got me banned on TikTok.
0. I don't like anything. I hate everything I don't like. Hate it. And there's no apology. 0 worry. There's nothing out there that worries me when it comes to that kind of crap. I don't give a shit at all. Don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. I really don't. And most people who talk like that do. But there are exceptions. But it's just something you have to understand. It's not going to affect me. I should just say it that way. We're here to give you information. We have an opinion, but we're also researched in this. And I hope that for those of you who have just watched the show and maybe listened the last 10 minutes, know that we know our shit. We know it. I mean, I wasn't born in 1969, 70, 71, 72, and 73. So that means I got to do a little bit more work. It's easy to say shit about 2000, 1996. Dude, I was in that's the prime. That's prime. I'm an adult coming into my own. But 1985, 1983, 1981, 1974, are you telling me that we don't do our research a little bit here and know what the fuck we're talking about? Of course we do. Otherwise, why the hell am I going to do this? Why? So I can sit here and yell like Stephen A. Smith all day with no information? If we're going to yell, at least yell good information. If you're going to get irritated, at least get irritated with something because it's wrong or stupid. Why are we going to get angry if somebody says, well, I don't think Luka's going to win a championship? Okay, why? just because. Well, that's not gonna work. Michael Jordan heard that. What happened then? What happened? Kobe's not going to win without Shaq. These people who say shit like that aren't really saying it with any clear knowledge. They're just saying it because they're rats. They're sewage rats. And they're just trying to gnaw. They're trying to gnaw at things. That's it. They have no credibility. And they have been there for years because people are stupid and all up in their feelings. And they don't know how to interpret the difference between someone who's up in their feelings or someone who's passionate. It's like, Gerald, you ever had an issue with something and you're complaining about it, and then someone says, well, stop bitching about it. There's a clear difference between complaining and bitching, right?
Yes.
To me, here's a clear understanding of the difference between complaining and bitching. Y'all ready for this? So you can tell your people? Somebody who's bitching is, it's so hot here. Oh, we shouldn't have come at the 1 o'clock game. Oh, the nachos don't have enough cheese. That's bitching. Complaining is when you go to the parking lot and somebody breaks into your fucking car. That's complaining about why the fuck somebody just broke into my car. Where's security? Right? So the complaint for the Lakers for the 2026-2027 season right now is, for me, is please don't make the bad choice by overpaying. That's the only thing left. I just don't see anything else going on because they're in a really good position. They have money to spend and they have a choice. The only thing they don't have a choice in is Jared Vanderbilt. That's the only thing that's kind of hovering. That's just another year away. But Lakers or any other team always has that one guy, and he's that one guy. They always have that. I call him the Luke Walton guy. The guy that's contract that won't die. Luol Deng was after Luke Walton. So it was Luke Walton, then it was Luol Deng, now it's Jared Vanderbilt. Jared Vanderbilt, I'm sure with all the discussions
God,
we've
I
had
hope
about,
they don't waive and stretch him. I hope to God they don't waive.
I don't think they will because they could fill that in case they need it's not that big of a number. It's not like Luol Deng making $20 million a year, which inflation would have made it 30 around this time, right? So I don't think they're going to make that mistake. They'll let it go one more year and it'll be done. The important thing here is, in my view, is enjoy this phase because this is actually the first year of Luka was the big fish, but this is really the beginning of the Luka era. It really is. And I like the leadership that's coming in. And
with one exception.
Well, he needs to, well, he's already been there, so it's not him coming in. I'm pretty positive that will be rectified shortly. Because no other way.
I hope so.
He's a detriment to progress because he's part of the old regime. The thinking is still there. I believe he's going to be there until Genie probably leaves at the latest. But I could see him leaving earlier too.
It was a shame that him, the Ramby, were not part of the layoffs, the recent layoffs.
Yeah, because Genie said, "Please, can you keep my friends here?" More than likely. So they'll work around him. That's why they're hiring rocket scientists to basically probably tell Rob how stupid he is. Oh, but he knew Kobe and he knew what's his name, and I don't give a shit who he knew. And I'm sorry, with all due respect to Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul. Just because you know somebody that we like doesn't mean I'm going to have to like you. Does that make any sense? There's plenty of guys that I know that have dillweeds for friends, and I'm sure that they think something of me. Not all people connect. I don't like Rob Pelinka because his personality bothers me. Whether he's a good worker behind the scenes or he works hard or whatever the hell that is, I don't give a shit about that. I don't like how he talks. And I don't like Jeannie Buss as an owner. I'm sure she's nice. but I don't like her as an owner. And as far as Kurt Rambis is concerned, I'm trying to stay away from that a little bit because I don't want to hate Laker players. You know, this whole thing with Byron Scott when he was a coach, I didn't like how much people hated Byron Scott. I'm like,
going to separate the two.
Please separate it, man. Byron Scott's cool, man. He just didn't work out as a coach. Timing was wrong. He's not good enough, whatever. But we can't hate Byron Scott. You can't hate Kurt Rambis. These guys are Laker legends.
Maybe not Hall of Fame. After ours.
They're not Hall of Famers or what, but they're Laker legends. These guys are part of a group that in a lot of ways is the greatest era of basketball.
Byron even named a channel after us. Byron Scott's Fast Break.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm. Well, just saying. But again, it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. With Joe, with that said, and of course, the finals going on right now with New York leading 2-0, but the future is still bright for teams like San Antonio. We're interested to see what OKC does, but with them, they still have a myriad of options. Yes, they are going to get very expensive. Yes, they're going to do some cost cutting, but Sam Presti in OKC has found a way to go ahead and navigate through that on more than one occasion, as far as being able to make right choices, make right draft choices, make right trades to get pieces that can compete on both sides of the floor. And same thing with San Antonio. You see how well they, but yes, I understand that the draft was very friendly for them 3 years in a row, but they still had, while Wembanyama was an easy pick, they still had to pick Castle. They still had to pick Harper. They still had to make those picks for those players when it was not certain how well they would develop. And they've got a future going forward as well. So with that said, you said the time now is for Luka. Luka is in his prime. He is the core piece we need to build around. I'm just not sure with A, the pieces that they have available, or B, the person putting those pieces together in Rob Pelinka, that they are capable of being able to compete at that level this time next year or the year after, because I think it's going to take some time for the Lakers and to get the right people in place to go ahead and do so, because the numbers are just not lining up. The talent is just not lining up. You see, there is a difference in talent right now between what the Lakers have and what some of the other teams have in the NBA.
They have to hit in the draft this year. Hit as in someone who's reliable as a shooter and can play defense, at least team defense.
What about that? They go after a big guy and a defender?
It doesn't matter. Whoever they can find that can play defense and hit shots. Big men have to shoot. That's why Hartenstein was rendered neutralized, because he can't really shoot. And then Chet Holmgren turned into a pumpkin, the pumpkin that he is. What is it? What's that skinny pumpkin in
He was on a milk carton.
What is it?
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton. He looked like Skeleton. What's his name? Skeleton something.
Night Before Christmas.
Yeah, the Night Before Christmas guy. Useless. Which I wasn't surprised. Again, I think he was. Anyways, I'm not going to get into that anyway. Forget about that. Forget about Chet Holmgren. I don't want to talk about Chet Holmgren. The Lakers need to hit in the draft tonight. I'm sorry. This season. Jeez. In this draft. And then they got to get a couple of players in the offseason that are perfect
Jack Skellington.
Jack Skellington. Thank you.
Thank you, Mendrick.
Chet Skellington. That should be his new name. They need to get a couple players that are essential depth type players that are reliable in high pressure situations. They don't need to be a superstar.
Both sides of the ball.
Yes, they don't need to be superstars. They just need to be those guys that you're seeing, like the Bridges in New York, the Josh Harts, Karl Anthony Towns. By the way, you have to give him some credit right now.
I think he's the MVP personally. I know Brunson's going to get all the highlights, but Brunson has been terrible shooting in this series.
We just talked about Wilt Chamberlain, right? About what he didn't do. Karl Anthony Towns putting himself away from being Karl Anthony Towns enough to do what's necessary is why, with the combination of everybody else too, but him making the commitment to being not what he's been used to being and doing it well is absolutely the most valuable thing on this thing, because Jalen Brunson is going to play exactly how he's played. He hasn't changed anything. He's playing how he's been playing. And while he is arguably the MVP of the team, sure, he's probably going to get the finals MVP, but Karl Anthony Towns is the double X factor in this, because he has committed to making sure that Wemby is not comfortable.
And he's my MVP after 2 games so far. To be honest,
he looks like, you know what he reminds me of, Gerald, even though it's not the same in terms of the effectiveness on offense and things like that, but in terms of how this has come out the first 2 games, it's similar to how Anthony Davis was the finals MVP in 2020 until LeBron kind of turned it up. Because those first 2 games against Miami, Anthony was owning everything. And then game 6, in my view, you could have, if they had given AD the MVP just based off game 6, game 6 was by far one of the greatest defensive performances in a big game like that I've ever seen. You could see Tom Brady's balls the moment that game started. Let's see if anybody can decipher what I just said. I had to come full circle with the Tom Brady discussion.
I know. I realized that.
So, and I have some friends that are Knicks fans, and I'm kind of once Boston got kicked out, I didn't give a shit about who won. I honestly didn't. It was OKC who won, San Antonio. I did think that San Antonio was a better matchup for New York. I think New York would have had bigger problems with OKC, though. I don't think they'd be up 2-0 against OKC. I think that team matches up better with New York, and I think OKC wins it. San Antonio, I think, should have won game 1, even though game 2 they should have won, but you got to win game 1 at home.
Yeah.
Come on. You got to win game 1 at home. And game 2, sometimes it will slip away, because the other team's playing real hard to try to get the split. But
Wemby choked it in that last minute. Choked it. Had 2 opportunities.
I also think Mr. Johnson, the coach, is being a little outclassed as well. I think his inability to get Wemby the ball close enough to the basket's really, really costing him.
I agree.
Yeah, that
you got to emphasize that more to him as well. You got to say, Wembyama, you got to get close to the basket. You can't, or get something in movement that gets you closer to the basket, because it's so much more effective if that's the case.
Yes, and you cannot use the excuse of that you don't really have somebody that can make it work. I'm sorry, but didn't they get De'Aaron Fox?
Yes.
To distribute. He's a legitimate point guard, right? Why isn't this guy doing what Jalen Brunson's doing and creating and opening space and having Wemby move around? Is Wemby worried about contact? That could be it too. Because why does he keep shooting jumpers when the guy is 11 feet long? Isn't he 11 feet long, Gerald? Doesn't he have like a 4-foot arm with his 7, 8?
Is it 9 feet? Let me go ahead. I'll type that in. Go ahead.
You gotta. There was a play, a few plays before he missed that jump shot to lose the game. There was a play where he went to the basket and he basically laid it up from the free throw line. They needed to run that all day.
9-7. It's 9-7 to let you know.
Yeah, and also you need somebody to make shots to keep the team on. See, Spurs weren't hitting shots either.
And how high is the basket from the floor?
10 feet.
Yes. It's just insane.
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox is not being utilized correctly, and Wemby needs to have more of a ferociousness from here on out. They can still win this.
Oh yeah,
they have to win the next 2 games in New York, though.
Yeah,
if they lose one of these games in New York, the series is over. I don't see a young San Antonio team coming back and winning 3 straight. They could, but I don't see it.
Because they were down to OKC and they won that series.
They were down 3-2. 3-2 is
But they have to win game 3. Statistically, they have to win.
3-2 is a. I've seen enough 3-2 comebacks to not have to go in, because when you win game 6 at home, game 7 on the road, normally you're supposed to think that the home team's going to win, especially in basketball. But lately, a lot of pressure there. Oklahoma City kind of shrunk in that moment.
Oh, they did.
And really, this is again wax poetic and all the stuff that we've been, and we're guilty of it too. I know I am, because you're in the moment. But man, the Oklahoma City Thunder right now are one Halliburton torn Achilles away from not having shit right now.
But would you rather like to be in their position or the Lakers' position right now with the talent?
Ask me that in a year.
Okay, the talent and assets that they have.
Ask me in a year, because the same system that's allowed them to be successful is about to humble them in a minute here, because a lot of these guys are going to want to get paid, and they're not going to be able to pay everybody.
Well, some of them are going to be getting paid, which is,
and I know I know owner Clay Bennett has said that he's willing to pay the luxury tax, and I believe him.
But they will be, by far, if they just stand pat and pick up the contracts of Dort and Hartenstein, they will be well above. I'm talking well above the second tax apron. And you and I both know that's a death knell for these teams, not just to pay the taxes, but the flexibility you lose when you do that. So I expect some changes. But again, it's how you move on the fly. So yes, you're going to make changes, and bring in cheaper players or bring in cheaper, better value contracts. But again, we've seen Presti, we've seen these GMs be able to adjust on the fly. And especially if it doesn't work, he has a myriad of assets to go ahead and make changes. That's the thing that Rob doesn't have. Rob has to get every move right. That's the one thing he can't do, and he's never done. He's never gotten a series of moves consecutively right. You could always point to something where he made a mistake here, he made a mistake there. He just has to start stringing together 4, 5, 6 moves right in order to get this team where he wants it to go sooner rather than later, Joe. And I have serious doubts he will do that.
If it was just if Mark Walter and his group wasn't there, I'd say you're 100% right. It's likely that's how it's going to be. But I just don't see him really being the shot caller anymore. I just don't. I think he's there as a novelty.
Until his name is taken off there and he's moved to an advisor or let go altogether, I still say he's the one calling the shots. That's just my personal point. I would like to say that there's more eyes on him, that there's more people in
Jared,
the office.
You've seen Office Space. Remember the efficiency experts?
Yeah,
would you say that Bill Lumberg was in charge at that moment? No, he wasn't. It was the efficiency experts. It's the same setup. These guys do corporate shit everywhere. It's the same thing. Why would you bring a rocket scientist to go talk to Rob, to massage his back while he's making decisions? Come on. No. There's a plan here. It's coming. The efficiency experts are coming in, and there's gonna be axing coming.
And I understand they've gotten 32 vice presidents in recent days, and they're all going to be hovering around Rob with every move he makes. But I still believe he is the guy that's going to be making those moves until it bites him in the ass and finally do what the Lakers need to do. But the problem is,
they better not let him draft.
Well, they've got was it Tony Bennett?
Yeah, Tony Bennett. Yeah, everybody that has any say or expertise is working for Rob. Come on. He's a hood ornament for Genie. I'm sorry, he is.
Okay.
He's a hood ornament for Genie.
If you say so. We'll see if the results, as you always say, we'll see what the results tell us. As far as
I'm done. I'm done with the Rob Pelinka results, to be honest with you.
Ruff said he's got not extending LeBron, right? Ruff said, I think, Joe, for me, I would just move on from LeBron. I just think at some point in time, you got to cut the cord. It's not that, again, LeBron had the best season ever for a 41-year-old. point blank, point gun. And I don't care Daruko saying his hateful stuff towards LeBron, whatever. I get that. I understand. You're LeBron hater. It just again, it's clear. But he had the best statistical season ever for a 41-year-old, and the fact that he stepped it up when the other top two Lakers scorers were injured. We're giving him the credit for that. But do I want him to come back on this team? I just don't think it's prudent. I think at some point you have to cut the cord and move on. You have to move on from the LeBron era. And I think now this is a flux year for the Lakers. This is if you think you're going to line up a championship team with what the Lakers have, the assets they have, and the fact that the front office they have with, I think still the guy calling the shots. I don't think it's going to happen. What you have to do is you have to start building for the team going forward and move on in a new direction. And I don't think it should include LeBron. But again, this is the Lakers. Nothing will surprise me if they sign LeBron tomorrow for the veteran minimum, 20 million, or the maximum. It wouldn't surprise me because this is the type of things that the Lakers do. If they sign AR tomorrow for 5 years, $240 million, it won't surprise me because, again, these are some of the things that the Lakers have done to appease Lakers that have stayed with them for a while. And again, it's oftentimes against better judgment, but we will have to wait and see. But I am prepared for a summer of consternation and running it back to some extent. And I'm hoping that's not the case, Joe. I'm seriously hoping that's not the case because the team in its current configuration is not good enough to win a title. We just have to come to grips with it. In yours, would you surmount that to be the same?
It has to be. The benefit would be to not have to listen. Well, I'm not listening to him.
Daruko, wait, hold on, Joe. So Daruko, you're laughing at the fact that you said that he is still he is not playing at a high level. So what did he average this year? You called him lazy. You called him stuff all throughout the chat. And I know you're being a troll when you say that stuff like that. Come on. But again, at age 41, he averaged 21, 6, and 7 on 50% shooting. Now, you tell me, who else has done that in age 41? How old are you? Are you 41? Could you go do that right now? I'm not trying to defend LeBron. I'm just telling you the stats. So don't tell me he didn't play well for a 41-year-old. He had the best statistical season ever for a 41-year-old. And you and all your LeBron hate can't take that away. I don't love LeBron. I don't hate LeBron. I told you, I've been on this show for years talking about all the noise he's created, but he came to play when the Lakers needed the most. He didn't have any extra noise. We complimented on him on that. But yet I still want to move on from the LeBron era. But don't take away what he did this past season at age 41 because you can't. If you want to call him lazy, you can call him lazy. But again, the stats bear out what you saw on the TV, what you saw on the screen during the playoffs, and he was the MVP of that Houston series. I don't hear you. Again, you have to state the facts. Don't. You LeBron haters all rile you all up your hate, and you just try to say you're like a politician. You say things that are not true, and you see things that are not true. The reality is, he had the best season ever for a 41-year-old, and he won that series, or he was the best player in that Houston series. Joe, it's just simple facts. You can call him lazy because he's been lazy on defense. I will give you that all day long, but the stats bear out on how good his season was, Joe. Oh, he's a cherry picker. I'm not going to sit here and tell you he had more fast break balls.
Who gives a shit if he's cherry pick? This isn't playing at the Y.
Yeah,
2 points is 2 points. Who cares in the NBA?
Do you want him not to score those 2 points?
Good. I'm glad he cherry picked. What does that even have to do with anything?
Do you not want the Lakers to win?
This is the NBA. You take your points as they come. So I never know. I can't listen to this nonsense. This is why I avoid all this shit. There are no consequences for stupidity online. 99% of the time. It's not about what you're saying. It's how you say it sometimes too. Much like how people hate how I say things, it's just that I'd like to think I'm not saying something stupid, at least. If you don't like my tone and I seem like an asshole, a narcissist, whatever, fine. That's your deal. But at least I can fall back on truth. And I have realistic things to back it up with. I'm not here saying Wemby choked in game 2, therefore he sucks. No, if I said something like that, you should punch me in the face. That's stupid.
He's 22. He's got a lot to learn in this league. He'll make mistakes. That's
saying LeBron sucks is stupid. He doesn't suck. You got to stop with this LeBron stuff. And every time there's a discussion about LeBron or Jordan or Kobe, some numbnut, dumb fuck out there has to talk about, oh, the other guy. Well, can you just let us watch a LeBron highlight without mentioning Jordan? Can we watch a Jordan highlight without mentioning LeBron? You fucking idiots. They're completely different players in completely different eras. Can we watch 2026 and not have to think about 96? Unless you're having a discussion. Yeah, okay, well, who's better? Okay, fine. But we're not even talking about anything out there. And to say he sucks is stupid. You are stupid for saying that. Seriously. With all due respect, it's a stupid comment. And it's not because I'm feeling it. It is a stupid comment because he doesn't suck. It's important to understand that. Maybe it'll help you in your life, because if you think that way about something easy, imagine how stupid you are when it matters. Imagine that. You set habits. Bruce Lee said this, and I said it on another show. Bruce Lee said, don't talk bad about yourself. You know how people you have in conversations, oh, man, if only I could get up because whatever. Oh, my brain is just, your body doesn't know, he said, that you're joking. If you keep saying it, you start believing it. So if you start saying stupid shit like LeBron sucks, you're going to get more stupid with other things. You see what I'm saying? Is it computing? You doubled it too, by the way, by saying, oh, he's a cherry picker. Like you're playing at 24-hour fitness. Dude, 2 points in the NBA is 2 points. If they don't want to guard his ass, fucking take it. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? He's a cherry picker. What do you want him to do? Miss the shot? What do you want him to do? Run back and then run back to go make the shot because they're too busy with imbalance on their defense? Is that what you want him to do? You see how that sounds, guys? I'm the stupid one for responding to it. See, I gave it attention. I should have just ignored it. And then you have dumb fuck over here, Lake Show 1993.
Yeah, I knew you.
Call me a bozo. You would never call me a bozo to my face, motherfucker. You would never call me a bozo to my face because I'd kick you in the face. You know that, right? Lake Show 93. What the fuck do you know about Lake Show 93, motherfucker? What do you know? What do you know about the Lake Show 93? Lake Show really started in 95, by the way. So you gotta change that 3 into a 5. Yeah. You all tough guys behind your little phones.
But Black, he's okay. Last thing on LeBron. He's 41. What kind of, it's not like he's 21 and not getting back on D. He's 41. Yes, the reason why he cherry picked or got more fast.
See, now Black, I'm sorry, Gerald. See, now Black has a response with some common sense.
Something attached to it.
I want him to get back on defense like he's supposed to. Boom! Holy shit.
It's with context.
There you go. There you go. You're not happy with LeBron's performance, and you bring something tangible. Not, he sucks. He cherry picks. he lays it up instead of dunks. Like, really? Really?
A lot of the reason why he got on those breakaways, yes, is because he doesn't get back on the defense every single time. We know this. We have stated this ourselves. But he is, again, 41 years old. At 41, if you guys are out there older like me or Joe that are older than 41, at 41, could you have done that for 33 minutes in an NBA game? Gone back on defense every single time? It's up to you. Again, you guys.
I still don't think his age has anything to do with this. They've been saying this shit for how long?
I think he saves himself on defense.
How long did we hear, Gerald? How long did we hear that Ray Allen was the reason why LeBron won in 13? I keep telling you guys this. No one's listening. This is not a 25, 24, 23 problem. This is a years. This has been going on for years. I'm defending him when he was not even a Laker. Oh, he only won in 2013 because Ray Allen hit a shot. Really? What about when Steve Kerr hit a shot? What about when John Paxson hit a shot? What about when Robert Horry hit a shot? What about when Paul Gasol hit a game-winning tip in 2010? Like, dude, you guys do know this is a 5-man, team on the court at the same time? But you see, you guys got poisoned. First of all, you're stupid. A lot of you are stupid.
Black, we wanted him gone. We didn't want him.
A lot of you guys are stupid. Just naturally, you're dumb. You don't really know how to do shit. You don't know how to solve problems. You probably don't know how to fucking keep a girl.
Well, let me just say this, Black. We wanted him gone. I understand that you're saying everybody gave him praise 2 seasons ago, but did we not want him here? Joe and I had been tired of all the noise and all the other stuff. We wanted him gone and did not want him signed to that 1 year, that 1+1 at 52 or 50 to $52 million a year. We did not want him to sign that. We said that clearly. So don't get on us because of that. And again, did we not just say, or did I not just say that I would rather just move on from LeBron at this point? I mean, I saw at the airport when I was taking my son to the airport to go on a flight, I saw somebody getting out of his car and he had a Bronny jersey on. That made me physically ill. So just again, I do not want to have LeBron on this team for next year. I just want to move on. I just want all the other stuff, all the other haters and all that stuff to not have an excuse to talk about what with LeBron or lazy or whatever. He's old. What I just want to move on. I just want to move on. And I think Joe does as well. But again, Joe, I guess you get clutch money according to DeRucco because, we seem to be his advocates at this point. I'm just telling you what the stats and what we saw out there from LeBron. You could say he's lazy. You could say he cherry picks. That's fine. But again, he was the best player in that Houston series. You cannot take that away. You cannot take away what he did in those last weeks of the NBA season when he stepped it up, didn't bring you any noise, didn't bring you any complaining. He just went out there and played basketball when Luka and AR were gone. And I understand you guys will never give him any props for it. I understand that. I'm tired of arguing with you on that. But please don't keep on with your LeBron hate because it just goes nowhere. It just goes nowhere. And again, I just want to move on from it myself.
It's what drives a lot of these lousy shows is this nonsense. Maybe that's why we don't have 1 billion people watching us. Maybe logic isn't something they want to listen to. They want to listen to hate. Hating on a lie, by the way, because not saying LeBron is great is stupid.
Or if they go on Lakers Nation or Yoba Buha's channel or anyone else, they get ignored. They get ignored. So at least we tell them
they get ignored in real life. That's probably why. Again, and I'm not here to do this. You kind of get in the zone and you get in the moment with whatever comment and you roll with it. Sometimes it is what it is, but in the end, it's a waste of time. These guys aren't going to change their minds. These guys are stupid.
No.
Okay,
I mean,
you don't want
to hate. They're going to hate.
You don't want LeBron back. There's a logical reason to go with that. You want him back. There's a little bit of logic there too. That's fine. But saying he sucks, saying he's a cherry picker, or saying that he needed some guy to win, like, just shut up. Just shut up. Okay? Yeah, enough of this crap. This is the same bullshit we've been in years and years after years after years after years. For what? And I'm not even trying to defend LeBron when he says stupid shit too. We have countless shows you can go watch when he says something stupid, and his man keeps saying stupid shit. We get all over him. It's about what you say or what you do, and then we react, not continue to say the same stupid shit that is actually wrong. It's wrong to say, well, this guy only won. And how many guys have said, well, if it wasn't for Kyrie, he wouldn't have won in 16 when he made that shot at the end? Oh, my God. It's like, dude, you don't have to make the last shot in every fucking championship to win. Okay? No one has ever done that, by the way. It doesn't happen. Sometimes you get help. Everyone that's won has gotten help. So it is important to understand that if you want to learn something, maybe try to listen to those who actually know a little bit of the history that can explain some of the things that have happened, because luckily for us, maybe we have a brain for it. We have a memory for it. Instead of listening to, and the sad part is a lot of these jackasses on these shows are former NBA players, which is worse. They talk like buffoons. They talk like this dumb fuck Lake Show 93. They just talk. They don't have anything to back up what they're saying. And then they hire a couple of dames to go on there and to fill in the boxes who don't know jack shit either. Like, really? This is the show? This is the show that you guys want to watch? You don't want to watch a show where at least somebody knows the history of the NBA, history of the champions in the past, some of the players' performances because they've watched the games, even though they weren't even born or they were young. I mean, I'd like to think that there's some. I know that there's interest in me doing that. Just me being me. If I wasn't doing a show, I'd still do it. But I've done it more since I've had a show. I do a little bit. Hell, today I was looking at stuff from the early BAAs and the early when before it turned in the NBA, just because it's good to know some things so you can go back to it. The Will Chamberlain discussion was pretty good today on our chat, trying to explain why Will Chamberlain left a lot on the table, and Shaq did too, by the way. Both him and Shaq left a lot on the table that shouldn't have been left on the table. Shaq should have been a 6-time champion at least. He left some things on the table. Same with Wilt. I think Kareem exhausted his talent. Kobe exhausted his talent. Magic Johnson exhausted his talent, but it got cut short due to you know what. So, and of course, Larry Bird, he exhausted his talent after 8 years because his body started breaking down. And that's just how he played. Larry Bird was like Troy Polamalu. You knew his career was going to be short. He played too hard, too long, too ferocious to have a long career. And to have played, 13 seasons was a miracle for him. And even that, like last 4 years were like, he was kind of broken down. He wasn't really who he was. You're going to get that from Nick Wright, that fucking piece of shit. You're going to get that from Perkins or Stephen A. Smith. Do they even fucking know what those guys did back in the day? Or do you want to just listen to them say, oh, Jordan and LeBron and Jordan and LeBron? Still Jordan LeBron. Let's go interview Rich Paul and see what he thinks. Who the fuck cares what that piece of shit thinks? Why? Why do you even give a fuck what that guy thinks? The guy was selling CDs in his trunk when Michael Jordan was owning this planet. You're going to listen to him? Didn't we hear this kind of stupid shit from LeVar Ball? Mr. LeVar Ball making headlines saying he could beat Michael Jordan, averaging, what did he average? Like 2 points a game in JUCO ball? Like, you give these guys attention, this is what you do. This is what happens.
BBB.
The shoes that destroy careers.
Yes.
We know it destroyed his firstborn.
Yep, absolutely.
That and bad genetics.
Well, Joe, they gravitate to those shock and awe, channels.
I don't mind it once in a while, but when it's the primary, it gets old.
They're just like recently I saw a thumbnail from one Lakers channel. I won't name the name, that said that the Lakers were trying to talk trade and considering a trade for the number 17 pick for Adu Thiero. And I'm just like, who are we kidding here? Who are we kidding? Who are we absolutely kidding?
Well, the fact that you had a lot of Laker fans saying, "Well, who would we have gotten in at 60 when they drafted LeBron?" That shows you exactly where those guys' brain is, which is exactly up their rear end. But we're supposed to be nice and all that stuff, right? Or whatever, because it's LeBron's kid. Come on, this is a professional. This is the highest business in your profession. And you wonder why things have gotten worse. All you jackholes that are complaining about stuff, and then you sit. When was the last time you went to the Home Depot or the Lowe's or any of these places? Why do you think those places are shitholes right now? No one can help you with anything unless you're a hot chick. No one's going to do shit for you over there. Why? Because we've allowed this to happen. We don't want the mom and pops anymore. We want the cheap 10% off, 15% off bullshit. Well, when you want that little discount Walmart brains that half the population has, what do you think is going to happen, folks? They're going to hire the shittiest people. You're going to buy the shittiest product, and you're going to become shit just like that. It's a mentality. I told you, Gerald, I think I told you this. I might have said this on the show. When I used to work in the hotel business, I used to steal. It's steal, by the way. It's not take. It's steal. I used to steal little boxes of paper clips, the fucking 39-cent paper clips, and rings of paper, like a fucking idiot. You know why I did that, Gerald? Because I felt entitled to it. Oh, well, it's $1 million business. I don't feel like paying. Well, what's a ring of paper? What's a stack of paper? Well, like $3. I'm still a thief. I'm stealing what's not mine. When you have that mentality, your brain gets smaller. When you say stupid shit like LeBron sucks, it's the same concept. It'll seep into other things down the road. Another thing that I had been talking about a lot lately too is, you ever know, Gerald? I'm sure you've been around as almost long as I have, so you've definitely been experiencing this. I'm sure of it. You ever had a family member or a friend that's always trying to sue somebody?
Yes.
Okay. I'll leave it at that. I'm just
Joe. I remember I have
to find something. It's like
I have origins from Southern California, Joe. So the
all these guys, all these guys that are trying to sue somebody all the time because they're all that effort that you're thinking of suing, you could go work and make the money, but you got to go sue because you're lazy and you're stupid, right? It's the same concept. You create this mentality of stupidness, and you're trying to cut corners. But all you're cutting is your intelligence. What it is what it is. I was a thief. I stole rings of paper and paper clips that totaled $3. For what? Why? Because I was stupid. And I use that example in scenarios like this so that maybe I can help somebody, and using sports to do it. Somebody that comes on randomly to call somebody a name that they've never met and then runs off like a bitch. What is that? What do you think that guy does when he walks down the street? He'll probably see a bike that's not chained and steal it, right? There's a high probability that he would do it over me. I wouldn't do it. I just walk by. So we want to understand a couple things here. Laker fans, and I gotta Laker fans I know are a little bit different than any other fan base. We're greedy. This is the Lakers. This is the greatest basketball franchise that's ever lived, and I don't think anybody really can argue that. I don't give a shit what Boston says. The Knicks, the world loves the Lakers more than any basketball team ever, if you put it all together. This team was built on elite. they're built on the elite. They're not built to be just let's just play good basketball and blah blah. No, elite. This is an elite franchise. And when you see things that are not elite being run by people in charge, we're going to be a little bit more passionate. And right now, there might be a transition happening here where finally the elite is going to also be behind the court, and that'll help in front of the court soon.
Oh, Serge, you kill me. Serge, you're the man.
What does Serge
What's
do?
he got tired. He got tired of Daruko. Didn't ban him. Just timed him out. I'm tired of hearing your voice. Just shut up.
Well, and that sometimes is it seriously. It's stupid. I don't. Serge calls the shots here, guys. If he wants to bounce your ass, that's why we hired him.
Yeah.
If he feels like you suck at your job, then so be it. But I don't give a shit. To me, I'm still waiting for people to come tell you in my face what's up. But I know when it'll happen, Gerald. I know when it'll happen. When we get famous to the point where we're a little bit more global, that's when they'll come because they'll want somebody to hit them in the face so they can sue you, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I know how it works. You think I'm stupid? No, I'm not stupid. I may be a jerk. I may be an asshole. Whatever you want to call me. Call me all the names you want. It won't affect me. But I'm not. Yeah, I know the routine. I know how this works.
Yeah, last time Lake Show said something about you. That was like 10 minutes ago. Bozo Joe loves saying a whole bunch of nothing. There's a lot of love for you, Joe. I got it on Spotify.
Your parents think you're nothing. That's bad. That's a bigger problem for you.
I'll just say this. As many people get pissed off at him, as many people love him. So again, I consider it a wash if that's the case. So he's a great part of what we do here at the Lakers Fast Break, and to me, it's not changing. So, and I run the channel. So apologies to anyone who doesn't like it, but again, I tell him to not be any other way than himself. So it is what it is indeed. But again, tomorrow it is game 3 in NYC. If you've got $6,000 to spare, you can get 2 tickets for tomorrow's game on StubHub right now, at least as of now. It'll probably go up from here, but again, it is that's the cheapest, Joe. That's the nosebleeders at MSG, where you probably, because that building's so old, you probably can't see from where it's at. It's 120,000 if you want the good seats, but there you go. It is, of course, Joe Soro along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching and listening. We will come back. I don't know, sometime this week. I know that John said he wants to come back on. He said, I can't make it today. I'm Zoom executing right now. I can't have my fights with Black on the air today. I wish to have them though at some time this week. And I know that also as well, Legend is on vacation, so I'm wishing him a happy and safe vacation as well. But I will come back with NBA observations this week, and we'll try to have another show because it's getting closer to draft time. And it's getting closer to the time we need to go ahead and be more on the air, indeed. Plus free agency as well. And I know the Lakers rumors will start heating up here the closer it gets to the end of the finals and whatnot. But Joe, I wanted to ask you again one last time in regards to that number. You said the Lakers have to have to hit on that pick at number 25, which the odds are going to tell you that that's more than likely not the case. More than likely at 25, you do not hit on a player. But that being said, this is one of the better drafts in recent memory as far as the first, I'd say 30 to 35 players are concerned. And you said you needed someone that can play defense and shoot from most likely the wing. At that area of the draft, that might be harder to find. There may be one of those athletic 6'10", 6'11" power forwards who can rebound well and provide you defense and be a lob threat that might fall to that spot, one of those players. There's also instant offense guards that can come off the bench and light it up for 15 to 20. That's that shoot well from 3. That's a possibility, but the athletic two-way guards at that position, at that spot, that shoot well, That may be harder to find at number 25 from what I've been doing, because I've been doing breakdowns of a different draft prospect that may be available at number 25, whether they go down or whether they come up in the rankings. And one thing I am noticing, what you're asking for may be harder to find.
Yeah, the Lakers, if DeAndre Ayton hopefully opts out, they could be looking for a power forward center at that point.
I just want talent. I just want a talented
But
individual that
that's
can play.
again, things are different nowadays, right? There. And by the way, what is with the names in this draft? I can't pronounce half these freaking names. Like the only one I think I can remember is Isaiah Evans or Alan Graves. Like that's, and then everything else is some weird name, and it doesn't matter where they're from.
Rough, I think with the no, that was me. Sorry, Rough. I think it's going to be harder for them to trade. They just don't have assets. They just don't have enough assets to trade up with. Now, I was thinking, well, actually, Pinty from Germany proposed this to me last month. He said, what if the Lakers traded down to the second round to San Antonio, where they have 3 second-round draft picks? So 1-1 for 3 seconds, where you get 3 stabs at the apple, Joe. Would that be of any interest to you?
The Lakers are not likely going to get a player that's going to have everything because it's too late. But they need to find someone that's going to eventually do what they need done. What's the hardest thing to find, Gerald? Do you think it's harder to find someone that can play defense or shoot?
That's a good question. Well, once you get past 15 in this draft, it's good that you're getting more into the range of you're getting one or the other. And
Right.
if when I'm
I would
going off,
rather you play defense because you can always use something with defense somewhere. And then cross your fingers and hope that the person that you're drafting is going to put in the work to be a better shooter.
but let me ask you again. What if San Antonio comes calling and they want the 25 pick for the, let me go ahead and get it exactly right. The 35, 42, and 44 picks. So that's 3 picks in the first half of the second round. 3 picks. What if they offer you that for the first round at 25?
I don't know.
That's 3 stabs instead of 1.
I don't know. I don't know what to say because I don't watch college basketball enough to know. I usually get my information based off of the last few weeks when I can, and this is where not having Stone Hansen around. When Stone Hansen was with us, I had so much more information because
somebody hacked his Twitter. I think somebody hacked his Twitter because they were putting a whole bunch of financial. He was retweeting a whole bunch of financial information from a dude. I don't know. Just didn't. It seemed irregular. So I don't know.
I don't know because I could just ask Stone, hey, what's this player? What's that player? And boom, 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 boom. It was like clockwork, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Lakers, I think, need to get an athletic player at 25 that can play defense. And then that's a start. Just maybe wait a couple years until he can make shots, but get an athletic wing, lanky, that's athletic, that can play defense, and then build them from there. I think that's what Oklahoma City's done with a lot of these late first, second round picks or free agent picks.
Now, JSJ, you're saying no guards. If the centers or power forward slash, let's just say the 6'10", 6'11", 7-foot players that are in my wheelhouse are not there, and your power for your forwards are kind of running dry as far as what they can do on either end. You don't want them taking a guard that can get them some really good points, like a Corey from Stanford. Yes, he's smaller, but he can light it up. As far as he's just a scorer, and having that off the bench for one of the worst benches in the league, again, if 25 may not be a bad thing to get, or Sturts out of Iowa who can shoot and light it up as well, shooting close to 40% on 7 threes a game. I mean, I understand they're not your cup of tea as far as the athletic two-way bigs, but uh, bench scoring is also something that the Lakers might need to look into as well, as I said all season long last season. Just talent. I just want talent.
I feel if you're gonna build a team that's going to enhance Luka's abilities more, here's how I would do it. You get the guys that you want doing what you need, shooting and maybe playing a little defense in free agency, because you know who's going to be playing well in the NBA, and then you keep building through the draft the athletes and the defensive players. And then the Lakers, I feel, and you're sort of seeing it, even though all three teams don't really have. I mean, let me ask you this. Now that you brought it up, out of the three teams, Oklahoma City, San Antonio, and New York, would you say that out of those three teams, New York has a legitimate 1 and 2 punch?
Yeah, I would say
Okay.
that they have a
Carl
legitimate
Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like there's a number 2 in Oklahoma, especially after this little run?
Well, if J-Dub is there, yeah, I would.
I don't think he is. I don't think he's I don't think he's in the category of a cat as a number 2. And I don't believe San Antonio has a number 2 yet. De'Aaron Fox was supposed to be, but he's not.
Those two guards, Joe, Harper and Castle, that's the future. They need to move on from Fox. I've been clear that.
But I don't know who's going to take that contract.
Well, you talked about trading for Giannis with Austin's contract. Yeah. I would rather have De'Aaron Fox if I was Milwaukee and be able to trade for De'Aaron Fox.
If San Antonio loses this finals, they better make that call, even if they only have him for a year.
Giannis Wemby front line.
They're winning the championship, barring injury, without a doubt. Yeah. Zero doubt.
And that backcourt with Harper no longer being
no doubt
on the bench.
If I'm San Antonio, I'm making that call, especially if they don't win the title. Matter of fact, I might make that call even if they win the title.
I would make that call anyways, Joe. Yeah. I've been saying that since last year.
But let's hope that doesn't happen, by the way.
No, that's again. I don't want that to happen, but I'm just telling you what. When I do those NBA observation shows, I have to make observations.
No, absolutely, absolutely. But they're probably going to have to give up Castle.
How do I like Draymond with Wemby? How do I like Draymond with anyone?
I would rather not watch Laker games if that piece of shit is on that team.
No, but San Antonio. I don't think San Antonio's that.
Oh, stupid. San Antonio. I thought you were talking about the Lakers.
I don't think San Antonio's that stupid, Black. No, that's like getting. They already have one old Golden State forward in Harrison Barnes. I think that's enough. That's enough. Yeah, that's enough. Yeah, that he's just going to mess up with the chemistry. He's going to yell one too many times at one of these kids, and that's just, again, they're going to side with the kids and not with Draymond. Draymond's act will not travel, Joe. Do you agree with me on that? That Draymond can do what he can do and what he does in Golden State and get away with it because he's been there as a foundational piece for all their championships, blah, 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 for so long. He gets traded. Somebody stupid enough to take him in, whether it's the Lakers, San Antonio, because that stuff is not flying like it does in Golden State.
And just want to remind everyone that he's the reason why the Warriors lost the championship in 2016.
Kicking the balls. Talk about our true kicking the balls, indeed. Yeah. JSJ says, I hope Curry convinces LeBron to the Warriors. I want to move on.
And he should have been. Draymond, I know that no one was going to do this because they don't want to get kicked out of the league for a year, but my God, if anybody deserved a sweet chin music to the fucking face, it was him at that year. Seriously. I mean, legit Shawn Michaels going around the backstage and just kicking everybody in the face, which is one of the funniest skits I've ever watched.
Or Bret Hart punched to the knockout like he did to Vince McMahon.
Problem is, we never saw that. I wish somebody had recorded
it. Rest in peace to the filmmaker Barry Blaustein, I think, who made Beyond the Mat. Rest in peace because he died earlier this year. But yes, I would pay for that footage of him hitting Vince McMahon and knocking him out. But yes, Harper is legit good. I just think, again, their future is there. I know that when I talked to Megan Price, who covers the San Antonio Spurs. I talked to Caleb Ponce who covers OKC. They all don't want to admit that that's the trend, but I have seen it now that that's the backcourt of the future. That's your backcourt for 10 years with Castle and Harper, barring injury, and Wemby. That trio, you better get them now, Joe, right? You better get them now because that trio is only going to get better at ages 21, 20, 22, 21, and 20. You better get them now. You better get them now. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Wemby's going to win a championship at some point. He's too talented. Spurs run a pretty good operation there no matter what. But the Lakers get a second. If the Lakers get Jokic next year,
you got to get some defense. You got to get some defense around them.
Get it in the draft. So imagine if the Lakers get a stud defender at 25 this year. They get a couple of really good.
What an athlete!
Absolutely good. They get a couple of really good role players in the free agency this year, and they bring back, let's say, Austin at a friendly contract. Let's say, then you go in the next year. I believe they have a first and a second next year. Am I correct?
Yes, I think it's the only year that they have a first.
And then you hit on those, and then you get Jokic. Now you have a championship team running into 27, 28.
Tell me, what does fans vote? Because I think they only have one number two. No, actually, they don't, Joe.
Maybe they don't have a number two.
2032 is the only year they have a second round pick.
Okay,
they just picked that up
because they sent all those from the DFS trade, right?
Yeah, they've sent it to Brooklyn. Brooklyn in the second round. This next year's second is going to Brooklyn with no protections. So nope. Yeah, Rob has traded them all away. He has a first, as of now, a first in 26, 28, 30, 31, 32, and a second in 32. That's the thing. Those seconds you can use to play around with, and you have none of those. So. Oh yeah, Vassell's good. I didn't know Vassell was that good of a help defender or defender. Period. SB. But he has shown in these playoffs, man, that kid can block shots. He comes from behind. You better make sure you got that ball protected because he will come from behind and swat it away. I've seen him off of center. Holmgren, Hartenstein, he blocks. He doesn't matter. He'll block those shots. And Vassell just has to get, because he was once really good at three-point shooting. He's not quite as good as Champagne right now. But man, if he could start hitting, that'll help him out for the rest of the series. Mavs were in the NBA Finals with rookie center. Lively draft is important. Yes, Matea. Yes, absolutely. It is important. But at 25, it's going to be harder for the Lakers to hit. The odds are harder. It's not impossible, but it's harder. But my contention is, how much harder is it when, whether or not you say he's controlling the pick or not, Rob Pelinka is in the room. That's my contention indeed. But yeah, I think we got through a lot of stuff tonight. AR, again, the rumors are out there, guys. I know what you guys want to pay him, but Chris Turner from the LA Times, when he said that's like put off alarm bells that he reportedly through sources is saying that AR is now thinking and being talked into by his representatives, which I said they would do, right? Because that's what representatives are supposed to do, are talking him into looking for the max.
What do you mean they're talking him into?
That's again.
Of course, he's looking for the max.
Well, I heard Gerald, he's going to go ahead and ask for the Lakers discount. The hometown discount.
Why the hell would they? Why?
We've heard that for a year, Joe. We've heard this for a year that supposedly he's going to, by the grace of God.
The PA don't want. The PA found out that he was. First of all, this is not a Alex Caruso scenario. This is a guy that's has a chance to get the max. Then the PA would be all over him if he's like, "Hey, let me get less money." No, that doesn't make any sense.
I've said it before, Joe. This is his one opportunity to be the marquee free agent in a bad marquee free agency. Let's just call it like it is, where there's teams that do have cash that can bid for him. And he's not going to get this chance again. At 28, he is never going to get this opportunity for generational wealth, not just him, but his descendants down the line to have generational wealth at all ever again in his lifetime. Will he have that opportunity? And how do you pass that up? How do you pass? 99% of the people out there are not going to pass it up. And I can't blame Austin if he does go in there to tell Rob, I want the max. I cannot blame him. Why would you blame him? Mateja, that's incorrect though, because the Bulls, with a sign and trade, could move up to the 5 years 240 deal. If the Lakers pass and Bulls are really interested, or Brooklyn's really interested, they can work out and play with the money to do a sign and trade that would get him that 5 years 240, that if he desires that, just to let you know. And there are other teams that have talked about moving assets in order to try and get enough money to offer him as well.
Somebody wants to give him the max. My hat's off to you. Bye.
Barring a sign and trade, Mateja, again, barring a sign and trade, it's 4 years, 180. And if he goes to the Lakers and say, you know what, I'm going to walk, I'm going to go play for the Bulls, or I'm going to go play for Brooklyn, and I want another year out of it. You guys work out a deal. At least the Lakers would get some assets in return, something in return, if they want to cooperate. So he can't get an extra year through a sign and trade, which is the least likely outcome to happen. But I know JSJ and I want it. So BZ is a chance, but is a chance for a championship more important? The money is the question that needs to be asked. And yes, we are aware again of the cap hold that and all that benefits that come with it, if for the first year only as well. But again, BZ, if you have a lineup with a backcourt of Austin Reaves and Luka Doncic, is that a championship backcourt? We saw what happened with Donovan Mitchell and James Harden. And if you only play one side of the ball at that level, at the conference finals or finals level, it does come back to haunt you.
Yeah, you don't ever want a backcourt in today's NBA to have two bad defenders or not good defenders. You got to team LeBron. I'm sorry. You got to team up Luka with someone who can defend at the two, at the other guard position, at the very least. And that's the other thing with Austin is he can't guard anybody, and he can't shoot in the big games. So what are you doing? Kennard couldn't. He was a good shooter. Kennard couldn't. Who else? Rui is not going to guard guards. He's a small forward, really, a power
He's just
forward.
a tweet. That's the only thing, because we
tweener.
talked about
Yeah.
how he shoots so well, but he's a man without a position, because he doesn't rebound or have the big body enough to sustain life
Right.
at the power forward, but he's not athletic enough to be, guarding small forward. So that's always been the catch-22 with Rui. SB says, what about Isaiah Hartenstein? He has a club option. If Oklahoma waives him, that may be a signal they're trying to restructure him on a new deal that's cheaper per year, but on a multi-year deal. But do you think the Lakers should go after an Isaiah Hartenstein?
No. No. I want a big that can shoot and play defense. And he can't do either one.
And BZ, I'm not trying to just throw hate on Austin Reaves. I love Austin Reaves as a player. He's such a great story, going from an undrafted player to where he is now the marquee free agent and a free agent. That takes a lot of hard work. Absolutely. You have to give him 100% credit on it. But the thing is, if you sign him, like I said, BZ, if you sign him, what do you have as far as at the level? Not in February, because it's going to look great in February when they combine for 70 points against Orlando at the Crypt. What happens in the second round of the playoffs. That's what I'm worried about, and I agree. I I don't know what the Lakers are in a quandary because if they don't commit to him, then they have now a huge gap at shooting guard. But if they do commit to him, they're going to commit long term at a very high price. And while you do save money on that first year, those second, third, fourth, fifth years may be problematic. And Joe says, well, you just trade him then. If he does not play or meet to that, if he doesn't play to that contract, it's going to be harder and harder to trade an individual like that, Joe.
I would rather not take the chance. Let the market dictate his worth, and then if they come back, if somebody comes back with a 4-year, $178 million contract, match it. That's doable. That's it, guys. Let the market dictate your worth. What do you got? What did you get, Austin? Well, I got 44.5 million, but for 4 years. Okay. I'm looking at it from a 5-year standpoint, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting probably right around what I would have paid him. You want me to give you a 5-year for 35? I'd do that. That's manageable. You can trade that without feeling like you're not going to get stumped by the other team. But you can't pay them almost $50 million. Even 35 is too much. I actually think 30 is the top, really. 4 years, 30 is really my number in my head. But I think somebody might pay him 178 for 4. Maybe Chicago, maybe Brooklyn. I don't know. Let the market say. Let the market dictate that.
BZ, that's a good question. I have said since last year, Joe and I actually had an argument over this once last year, last summer, because it didn't think it was possible. The Lakers didn't have enough assets then, but they do have enough assets you could probably throw at New Orleans. I would take a package of Herb Jones and Trey Murphy. That's my personal deal. I would love a sign and trade with Austin to New Orleans to get Herb Jones and Trey Murphy. That would be my dream scenario right there. That would have two spots right there. You have a defensive, one of the best defensive guards. 3-point shooting is come and go with Herb Jones. I will admit that. Again, and you have one of the young or into his prime scorers in this league that can't shoot from distance, in Trey Murphy.
Yeah, that's how you start that athletic.
I know. Messi seems to be everybody's in love with Messi. He's just not. He's a backup, guys. I think the center I would love to see the Lakers get is Khalil Ware from Miami. That kid who was in the same draft as Messi is the guy that has real talent, and he can't play with Bam. That's he just can't play with Bam. So they have to do something with him because he's not going to be coming off the bench forever. That kid can get you double doubles and stretch it out from 3 and block shots.
Yeah, I agree.
If the Lakers could get,
why would New Orleans do that though?
Yeah, well, you'd have to throw some firsts, and New Orleans that's stupid. So, but you'd have to throw out first. It would involve first, Joe, along with Austin Reaves. Maybe Austin Reaves in a first, but yeah, that's then.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that anymore.
Yeah, because as a backup, he's fine. Yeah, as backup Messi, but I've heard some people busy talk about Messi as a starter, and I don't see it. I just don't see it. He's had multiple opportunities, and if New Orleans wasn't so in love with Messi, why did they draft a center? Why did they trade an unprotected first to get a center if they love Messi so much? And he even got back into the starting lineup and still just there. But he has a backup. He's fine, especially if you lose Hayes. But Hayes might come back. I think Hayes will, because he likes playing with Luka. He's got his Slovenian passport. Joe, cover your ears. He's got his Slovenian passport, so he might want to stay with Luka. I mean, give him a raise because Joe and I admit both of it. Of anyone on the bench, he did play the most consistently on a bad bench. So, yeah. Yves Missy. Sports maybe. Eves Missy. Missi. Not the Messi. Not the Messi that you know. And I'll leave it at that. I know BZ. They cannot diss him for that for long, BZ, because they keep putting him back on the bench. He gets these insane double doubles. They can't put him back on they keep putting him back on the bench because they swear, they tell you in Miami that he can't play him and Bam at the same time together for some reason. They say it does not work. I'm like, okay. All right. Mr. I get 100 points against Washington. Kessler's going to be tough, rough. I think they are going to sign him. They're going to have a lot of depth in Utah after they sign Kessler and get the number 2 draft pick. Podol, no. Podol, no. Claxton, no. Ruff, no, please. You shoot better free throws than Nick Claxton. You know what? I think probably a layer of hell will be when Mitchell Robinson, if you had to sit and watch a free throw shooting contest between Nick Claxton and Mitchell Robinson. And then Jacob Podol, God, that contract sucks. But Kessler is probably going to be re-signed. He's a restricted free agent. But that contract sucks on Podol. You get that. You give me some firsts. You give either one of those Podol or Claxton, then rough artists. You give me some firsts. I'll be more applicable to hearing that if I get some firsts out of it, Joe. Give me some firsts, and then we'll talk.
Yeah, sure.
Lob threat center that can stretch the floor. Yeah, that would be great.
We need a shooter. We already have a lob center in Jackson Hayes. We need someone that can stretch the offense out and be a threat on the perimeter. That's what they need. They might need to find him in the draft. I don't know anybody that's going to be a free agent that's going to be able to do that. That will be available.
Tingo, you were right. They do need to man up and tell Luka, sit them down and say, okay, riddle me this, Batman. Can you guys play good enough defense to win a championship? And when the answer is no, and 5 seconds later, you come back to me on that. It's just that simple. When I see J-Dub or SGA or I see a guard just, tearing AR a new one, it's just, ugh. Jaden Quain's, man, he's a beast, JSJ, but man, he blew out his ACL. And okay, you know what the next layer of hell is? The next layer of hell is watching a free throw shooting contest with Nick Claxton, Mitchell Robinson, and Jaden Quaintance. Did you check out his free throw shooting? Please do so, and then let me know. Yes. I talk about Hackett, people talk about Mitchell Robinson to the Lakers. You want to see Hackett-Shack back again? You're going to see it with Jaden Quaintance. You're going to see it with Mitchell Robinson. You're going to, it's just, it's not good. Podol is, oh God, Podol's, no, that contract's so bad. Miles Turner, only if we get him in a trade with Giannis. We'll take both those back. We'll take those contracts. I'll take Miles Turner's bad contract. But you have to give us something. What do you think about Turner at this stage of his career? Do you think he has anything up? Do you think it was just a motivational issue playing in for crappy Milwaukee?
No.
Okay.
He had he played better in the finals, they would have won despite Halliburton not being there. Turner's been trash for 2 years.
Mateja, he did say he wanted Austin back. I believe he did.
Turner can shoot what? When can he shoot? Once a week?
Podol, no, you don't want that. You do not want that contract. You do not want that contract. Podol's, you do not want that contract. You do not want that contract. Let me just read it off for you guys. Okay. Because this is This is why Masai Ujiri in as the GM of Dallas. That's why it's scary for a lot of people out there. He is for what is he on 26? Oh, next year is 19,500,000. At 32, he'll make 27,300,000. At 33, he'll make 30 million. At 34, he'll make 27,300,000. So 15, right around 15% of the cap each and every year, Joe, will go to Jakob Poeltl, who hasn't stayed healthy, and
yeah, let's hire that GM, Dallas. Good work.
Yeah, that's when we talk about Austin Reaves, and I talk about free agent syndrome, Joe. Right there, right there, right there with Jakob Poeltl, right there, right there.
No dice.
Yeah. We can't buy depth for what we can do is send Reaves to Milwaukee for Giannis or Washington for AD. Bring the band back together. Bring street clothes back to. We love AD. We love AD, but those were fond memories of 6 years ago. This is the AD now is not the AD then. And have you seen his contract? He's looking for an extension, by the way. He's looking for an extension. AD is. Would you give AD an extension right now after what he has shown?
No. Maybe 1 year, 2 years, maybe, but that's it.
That's some scared. How many games has he played? It's yeah. Come on, guys. I already got gray hair as it is. Come on. Kessler, yeah, I think Kessler would be great, but Kessler is Kessler Bull. Yeah, there you go, Kenneth. I heard he's in Europe last time I heard.
Yeah, what are you doing there, sports baby? Why do you talk like that when you know it's not true?
Var, we love you. But again, it's the Lakers fast break. Joe, it's been a good 2.5+ hours. We gave them extra tonight because of our absence. So my friend, good. I want to thank you. I want to thank you so much for staying on with me. Appreciate it. Any last thoughts before we head on out?
No.
Okay. All right. But yeah, guys, if you have any thoughts on AR, yeah, I know that Juan already made his comments. He absolutely hates Reaves. So funny. I listen to Juan all the time. On the comments, he just hates. You can just feel the hate flowing through on AR. It's just man.
Why do people hate so much on things like that?
I don't know, Juan. We love you, man, but man, it's just.
I mean, I know. I hate things too, but
I don't hate Rob Pelinka because Stefan Piscano's podcast, he keeps on saying, well, you hate Robert. No, I don't hate Rob, the person. I hate the fact that he is still our president of basketball operations and general manager. That I hate, but I don't hate him because I don't know him. I don't know him and I don't want to know him. I don't care to know him. I'm happy for his relationship with Kobe, et cetera, et cetera. But there you go. But like you said, Vari, Dallas got rid of both Brunson, Luka. Yeah. Way to go, Nico.
And I bet you when the Knicks win a championship and the Lakers win one in the next year or two, it's going to look even better.
I agree. And then that doesn't even account for Quentin Grimes. They gave Quentin Grimes for a cup of coffee, and that didn't work out in their favor.
And that was, by the way, you can't blame the dipshits that are on the team now. The Brunson thing was Mark Cuban, and Mark Cuban's been doing stupid stuff since 2012, since he dismantled the championship team in 2011. So don't forget that. Don't act like Mark Cuban isn't involved in this.
Yep. As our Frank would attest to, our friend Frank. Frank. Miss Frank. I see Frank every once in a while on Lakers latest, which reminds me, I'll come back at you guys tomorrow morning with the Lakers latest. I will have NBA observations this week, and we'll do another show for you sometime this week as well. Because I told John and I told Legend we would do a show later this week when Legend comes back from vacation and John comes back from Zoom executiving. He's probably just boating around the south of France right now. That's what Zoom executives do. So there you go. There you
go. No more leather jackets. He thinks he's Rob Lowe in 1985. That's probably why.
The Brat Pack. The Brat Pack is back. Indeed. Luka versus Brunson would have been epic. Yes, it would have indeed, but not quite there yet. But we'll see if the Lakers can get there. But once again, it is Joe Soro. Please go ahead and check out what he's doing today at the Joe Soro Experiment right there on YouTube. Any new shows planned coming
probably
up?
This week, yeah.
Okay, because the Dodgers are cruising right now.
Yeah, today's game pissed me off though. I wanted them to finish the season 6-0 against these chumps, but
gotta win. We gotta give them one. Gotta give them one.
I don't like giving anything to anyone.
Fair enough.
Just win the damn game, man. You have a day off tomorrow. Just win the fucking game.
Hernandez, man, just he got lit up.
Yeah, they came back. They were down 1, and then Hernandez just got lit up. But they couldn't get past a lot of these at bats. There was a bad call by the ump that cost them 2 runs. Kyle Tucker cost them a run, but he got it back at least on when he was at the next at bat. But they should not have allowed 13 runs to these chumps. These guys are a joke. How do you allow 13 runs to the fucking Angels at your place? That part never. I don't care how good you are. I don't care what's going on. That still bothers me. Even if it doesn't matter when it matters, it's like really 13 runs.
I don't think
so.
Team. I don't think so, JSJ. I really think that Wemby is pissed off at himself for making those mistakes. And one thing we've seen is every time he's made a mistake in these playoffs, he's usually come back with a good game. I really think they're going to take at least 1 out of 2 in New York. Whether or not it's tomorrow, we'll have to wait and see. What do you think of that Milwaukee kid, though? I wanted to ask you this. Hitting over 100, 103, almost 104 on the gun.
Mizorowski's I just hope that his arm doesn't fall off.
How fast was Ryan throwing back in the day?
Ryan, I heard 101, 102.
Yeah,
at the most, but he wasn't throwing 100 like this guy. And the reason why Ryan was an anomaly then is because he was one of the few guys that did it. Matter of fact, I don't even have a memory of anybody else doing it. But now every team has at least 1 or 2 guys that do it. That's the difference.
Well, we'll see what happens. Again, the Dodgers doing good. Don't listen, Joe. They got to give Angels 1 out of every 6.
I'm sorry. They should have swept them 6-0 and let them sit on that for a year. But all those dipshits over there last year when they were 6-0, they were yapping about it. But I wanted them to return the favor. But I don't know. The Dodgers have a habit of just never fucking sweeping the teams I want them to sweep. They always give them a game.
Watch baseball give Mike Trout an all-star appearance hitting 226 because he's just healthy.
Talk about a wasted career.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
The Ernie Banks of our time, who should have been the Mickey Mantle of our time.
Yep, I agree. Wholeheartedly. Indeed.
It's his choice, so I guess it's not our problem.
Angels had Trout in his prime and Ohtani getting there, and you did nothing with them, and you did nothing to get assets for them.
They did nothing.
You let one get old, and you let one walk.
Yep.
Yeah,
and you let the greatest baseball player ever walk too. Wasn't just letting one guy go. It was the greatest baseball player ever, and he has a chance here to really cement it, and there's not going to be an argument. There's probably already not an argument now, but if he wins a Cy Young and an MVP and wins 3 straight titles, there's zero argument. There's going to be zero argument that he's the greatest baseball player that's ever lived. It's no longer going to be an argument.
Sports baby, I'm big on the Knights. I've got my Knights jersey warmed up because I'm hoping they can finish the deal. What a great game! Get 2 goals taken away. Thank God, hockey karma. The hockey gods said, "You know what? We're going to take 2 goals away from you, but the refs are going to take 2 goals away from you, but 2 goals are going to be scored by their own team." Karma, indeed. Yes, I got to thank that Danhausen curse. Indeed, yes, they are cursed. Let's hope they stay cursed and finish the deal. Indeed, but it is, of course, Joe Sorrell along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. I'm on every day in the morning for about 15 to 30 minutes at Lakers Latest. Joe Sorrell's coming back later this week on his channel for the Joe Sorrell Experiment. Don't forget, I do NBA observations on this channel as well, 2 to 3 times a week. And I've got one already planned later this week on the Clippers and that aspiration case. Getting kind of interesting indeed. And then also as well, Joe and I, maybe John, maybe Legend will come back for a live show by the end of the week as well. So absolutely looking forward to it. Joe, great to have you here, my friends. Great getting back in touch with you. I know people thought we were dead. Is the channel dying or what? No, it's just the off season.
They said that?
Yeah, there was. Yeah, I got comments. They're like, is the channel dying? You're turning it off the channel. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah. How many? You hear me on Lakers Latest. How many LeBron or Austin rumors do you really want in a day? Come on. Yeah, indeed. Well, we'll be back later this week with some good stuff talking about the Lakers and more right here, as always, on the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.
Da, da, da.
No, we didn't die. The Lakers season died, but we didn't die.
Shohei needs to pitch a 7-inning game so he can qualify at the moment. Yeah, he still hasn't really qualified.